It's not the greatest day for baseball, but it should be good enough. The first pitch will be on its way.
Let's lower that down, shall we? Oh, let's lower that thing way down. All right, everybody, welcome back to Sports Goofs number 107.
107, take us to heaven. We're doing this.
Francisco and Charles here. Andrew is still out with a significant injury that is the Florida board exam.
Breaks your brain.
Yep. And we're back, as always, sponsored by Prawny's Hockey World. You get your hockey gear. They have the #1 customer service, that's for sure. Lowest prices, largest product selection. They work hard. Their website is bigger, better, more features, more information, more content, pushing you all the stuff that you need for hockey. Lowest prices, biggest selection on new products and their closeout products, prior year products as well. So don't miss out. It's summer. It's hot. Get inside. Play some hockey. Check out our website if you want to get some of that stuff. There's a banner, big giant banner on the side. You can see it. Click on that. You'll help us out as well. And yeah, Charles, we're back. We're here. It's World Series Baseball 2 in the back because MLB All-Star Game happened. That happened in the background. Okay. And let's see, what else do we have, man? We had that.
We got NBA Finals.
Yep.
We have the denting of Lord Stanley's Cup. We have the Olympics, which is a big why are we even doing this situation. Mm-hmm. Or the pre-qualifiers, people overreacting over Team USA losing in exhibitions and everybody acting like it's not an exhibition. That's interesting. And then you have I'm going to kind of say it, you're going to have the big I word, ignorance in the sports world, where a certain player who can't speak a particular language may or may not be the face of a certain franchise according to certain talking media heads. We're going to definitely talk about that, kids. You know what we're talking about.
Yep.
We have career trajectories, and what we're going to do with our life and what we should do there, because there are certain things that are very important to my heart and to your heart, and we have to see if this is the parting of the ways. Maybe that's the appetizer. We got wrestling to talk about. Look at that. We're actually giving an agenda, a sneak preview. Yeah. Sport-wise, I think the only other... And then we have soccer, and we here at Sports Goose, that's not named Andrew, do not care about soccer. And the actual... There's just too many. I have no idea what the hell is going on. Messi is back with Barcelona or something like that.
But he got it. Yeah, basically he's made the most money out of like any athlete ever or something like that.
Yeah, and then I guess, there was one of the clubs that Ronaldo is owned by. I'm going to say it like that because transactional purposes in soccer or football really is more of a possessory thing than you guys think, or someone thinks that he's like a tool and people don't know what reference to. Ronaldo's kind of a tool. I'm just going to say it. You look at him. I got to ask you this. Ronaldo, international star. Most punchable face?
Pretty boy.
This might go. Remember our old game that we used to do of hug kids.
Yeah, we did that for like NFL teams. Like
I look at Ronaldo. It's kind of like I want to slap his hair to the
smack him in the face.
I'm not condoning physical violence against somebody.
Yeah.
I'm just condoning the fact that he's basically a frat boy. We don't like that. We have the Trevor Bauer situation, which is interesting. We didn't talk about that last week. Probably should have, but last week was a very fun, less controlled endeavor. I feel like you and I are more contained this week because it's probably we've had 2 days extra to kind of digest the world around us. Because I'll tell you everybody now, podcasts or live streamers, if we did this Tuesday, this would be a 10-minute show. Not so much happened.
Yeah.
But that's what I think is on the focus, man. In boxing, nothing's happening. Oh, we have did he or did he not have weak ankles? Connor. First time we're giving.
Oh, that's right.
Connor
The memes.
Oh, fantastic! Almost replacing the F is for Family with Dom Toretto, Vin Diesel, and Fast and Furious. Conor McGregor. First off, ouch. Second off, if you got weak shins, you can rollerblade. I hear that gives, or you can take up hockey and buy some of those sponsored.
Parade's Hockey World, baby.
Parade's Hockey World.
Yeah, go to our website.
So that's kind of the big scheme of things. That's the preview of the next hour and 45 minutes of your lives going down the rabbit hole with your favorite Goof boys.
Oh, yeah. And in the background, once again, World Series Baseball 2. I've got the Boston Red Sox versus the New York Yankees because apparently they're not going to be played today. So we'll have a version of that game happening in the background.
It's not the one that we're going to give you a fictitious game to talk about a fictitious team and a fictitious manager.
Yep. Giancarlo and Aaron Judge just going around doing commercials.
They're all I have left. You know, they're all I have.
Hey, I'm all on Giancarlo right now. All right. He noticed us. He noticed me. He noticed me in particular.
You asked us, so to give background. So Giancarlo noticed a video that you have posted.
Yeah, from the 2017 Home Run Derby. Yeah.
And he liked it, and obviously this means he wants to marry us. He's a beautiful guy. I don't necessarily,
if he was still in Miami, maybe he can pry me away from Jimmy. But he's out of Miami right now, so
I mean, he can pry me away now. A lot of people are going to roll their eyes or say in disbelief, but I have been advocating since the season. I think Giancarlo's been our best position player, even though he plays DH. But I've never strayed away from him compared to all the other guys, except for Garrett Cole. We love Garrett Cole. We'll go from there. I should have accumulated stats for how many Cole jobs is in the season. Maybe I'll do that on the side as we're looking at things. But Giancarlo, I was always kind of like, I think it's so hard to live up to that contract. Not a lot of people live up to any of the contracts that they have. But he's been, I think, the player I've been most satisfied with. So you asked me, hey, Charles, what is it that you want to tell you to your pseudo man crush? And what I would tell my pseudo man crush of Giancarlo Stanton is, I've been like the only guy loyal to you this year, right? What did I say last year? Just be ready for the playoffs. He was fine in the playoffs, not excellent, but no one's really excellent in the playoffs when they have big money contracts. Very rare unless you're a pitcher. And I know people say, but Charles, I think Aaron Judge is just killing it right now with all his 282 batting average, his 21 homers, his 47 RBIs. And I'm like, yeah, talk to me about the strikeouts, though. Because you know how I feel about that. You need patience at the plate. But Charles, DJ LeMahieu, I'm like, maybe. Let him earn it. I'm happy he's back. But Charles, your buddy, Garrett Cole, the love, where none of you guys like it, but you appreciate it. I'm like, welcome to life. But Giancarlo, just keep in shape. You're not fragile glass. You're going to be fine. He's played, I believe, 69 games so far this year. We're doing this now. Hey, right? So that's why we have to support him. He's got 15 homers. That's pretty good. We have one half in. To get 30 kind of might validate that contract a little bit. Slugging percentage, he is at 484 prior to the higher amount. For those who don't follow the analytics, slugging percentage is additional bases hit. So that kind of matters when you have runners in second, runners in third. You can't just go on batting average, but batting average sometimes matters to me because when you have a Gary Sanchez who's still on the team. Everybody loves it, and I've been that guy for how long? Who's like,
all or nothing, and there's been a lot of nothing.
Well, Stan's also batting average is 270, which I think is good, and he's a DH, so I think that falls line compared to Sweet Gary's 217.
I mean, Giancarlo's not as awful a batter as everyone thinks.
But that's the problem. I feel like I have to have been defending him for so long.
He's greatly improved, and even when he was in Miami, it wasn't that bad. He wasn't like, oh god, Adam Duvall. Adam Duvall, who's probably for the Marlins right now. Adam Duvall, he's hitting like 217 with like 20 home runs on the team, and leads the team with 20 home runs. Right, like he's on pace for like 35, let's say, like 35 homers, but he hits 217. So it's literally all or nothing with this man, and that's frustrating. But Giancarlo will actually get you those hard liners, those long singles off the wall because he absolutely smokes the ball whenever he touches it. But
I'm not crazy about the 80 strikeouts because that's second to the
power
team to the man who leads
power hitter. So
Aaron Judge with 90 strikeouts.
He's a power hitter. And what else can you do? What else can you do there, man?
But it just depends. I guess as a fan and us who likes baseball more than the average bear, the concerns is where you end up getting lined up into that batting spot. Because if you're like bottom, if you're 2 outs and you got guys in position you need that win and you have a high strikeout guy, that scares me. Some people feel that that's a pressure point for pitchers. I'm like, only if that pitcher's been in the game for like 7 innings already. Because new pitchers, different pressures. It might be low, it might be high, it might be in between. I should know this because we have a lot of choke artists. Since we're talking about the Yankees, I'm going to talk about some chokas. We're going to talk about some chokas. because I was in my 2021 Revenge Paymaker Tour, Francisco. We were in Houston this time. And it was good. It was really, really good. I felt like I broke up with the ex. I lost all the weight. I got all muscular. I grew, some great Viking hair, and I'm destroying it in Houston. Garrett Cole was disgustingly good. Even Jameson.
No spider tag needed.
Yeah. Right, we'll take this. Even Jameson Tyon was doing good. We were going for the sweep. Friday, we beat them 4-0. I was like, ooh, what? Saturday, we beat them 1-0, and that's when the great Garrett Cole tells Aaron Boone, he went Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
Clint Eastwood's like, get off my lawn.
Yeah.
Garrett Cole's like, get off my mount. In the greatest show, he wanted to be there.
Yeah.
He's that person who's like, because he's going to change that narrative. Obviously, like, I don't know what you bad boys were doing. I didn't get tired of you guys. I'm out. And then came Sunday. And this is when you found out that, yeah, I'm all crisp and clean, but then that ex of yours, that guy, that girl that he thought he loved you, well, turns out he left you or he married your best friend, or not the best friend, that girl that you were suspecting about. They already engaged and baby on the way. That's how I felt when we lost Sunday 8-7. Poor Jameson Tyon.
It seemed like
it was gonna happen. I told
you. But it seemed like that would have been the perfect cap to end, not only like the first half of the season, right? First half of the season, all right, okay, it's something to feel good on to move into the second half, right? The Yankees are struggling; they're a bunch of games back of Boston and Tampa. And it's like, okay, that's something to hang your hat on to be like, all right, that's the momentum going into the second half, right? And then it's like, and not only that. Just an absolute smackdown of the Astros, right? Just a sweep and a smackdown to cap it all off.
Kids, we were up 7-2.
All right, Aaron Judge, the homers that he had hit, and him and Gary Sanchez doing the "don't take off my shirt" thing.
Yeah, I loved it.
As they're rounding the bases during that series.
Fantastic.
I
love that
mocking
shit.
Altuve.
And then what happens?
Aaron bleeping Boone.
Everything is coming up. It's blowing up. It's going to hell. And then the end of it all.
Aaron bleeping Boone. Now you understand.
The home run.
Oh, man.
Francisco.
What an epic collapse. It undid everything in a way. It really did.
Could you?
You won the series. Like, you guys won the series, and there were some Yankees fans like, well, we still won the series, but I bet you, but it didn't feel like you won the series. It just didn't seem like that to me. Like, I'm like, well, I mean, yeah, you won the first 2 games, that's fine, and then, but,
it all means nothing.
Yeah, and you're still like 8 games behind,
I think Jose Altuve getting the hit that caused the win was just to rip out the heart.
Yeah.
You remember The Simpsons where poor Ralph Wiggum was all sad, and then you just see his heart breaking. And
was it off Chapman too?
No, it was off Chad Green.
Okay, all right. That would have been even worse.
Well, I know, and it's all on Aaron Boone. What have I been complaining about? What have I been complaining about with him? He has the lack of baseball IQ and situational awareness to pull a guy out. I understand the need to conserve the bullpen. Here's the reality check. We were going to the break.
Exactly.
Lose everybody. You were using Dermil German.
Yeah.
Which concerns me. I don't know if that was just a heater kind of mid-start thing, or we're transitioning him to just bullpen relief. But it's one of those things where I'm like, come on, man.
I got to call. Hold on. You keep talking, Charles.
I'm going to keep talking. Folks, this is not a situation where you have to contemplate just, it's not like we're playing the lowliest of low teams. It's not like we're playing the Arizona Diamondbacks. We were playing Houston. They were playing very high end. I wanted to break their spirits. But instead, Aaron Boone, and I watched the game too. I was actually there watching the entire stuff as I was doing my laundry, folding my clothes, ironing my shirts, being a good fan on my Sunday when I could just been taking a nice nap. And then I see that destructive behavior that is Aaron Boone. And then at that point, when I saw that nice little bomb from Altuve, I was like, blow this team up. No one's gonna want what we have, but either blow that team up or get rid of Aaron Boone, because it's just not happening, man. Now here we be, sitting 46 and 43. We have an 8 of 10 schedule going against everybody in our division, which is frightening because at this point we're not even Old Yellering it, because Old Yeller was at least getting rabies. It might have had some bite to it. We're just kind of we're the wings of a butterfly being ripped off by a sadistic child, and that child is Aaron Boone. We got to go against Boston. That was supposed to happen today, but we have too much of little positive virus tests are going on, so everything is postponed because we're scared. Aaron Boone is scared. I'm saying it now. Booney, hear me out. Follow us on Twitter. Charles the True, Dan Frijoles, Sports Goose, wherever the hell Francisco's thing is. There's my continuous hype up for us. But Booney, hear me out. If you ain't scared, manage better. If you ain't scared, think more, think better. Don't be afraid. Go with that instinct. Everybody loves you so much for sending everybody to the World Series back then. Bring that objective killer instinct at least, or that good luck. Because right now, what I feel like I'm seeing with you keeping around is a form of nepotism. What I'm seeing around is that you're still employed because of the fact that Cashman just wants a yes man. Break that narrative that I built against you for all intents and purposes, because can you beat Boston? I don't even know how Boston's this good. I know they have Rafael Devers. I know that they have some guys that they're going to get back to. They're going to get Chris Sale back. I'm like, they're building a pitching machine. This is terrible. Tampa, they're still in the fight of it. They're a game and a half behind Boston. Something's going to happen there. But we got to figure out what we want to be. We're behind Toronto, and the schedule's only going to get tougher, especially if we realistically, if 8 out of the 10 that we have, because it's going to go Boston, and then I believe it goes 2 games into Philly, or yeah, that sounds about right. Going to Philly, I have the schedule pulled in front of me, so I'm looking at that. So it should be Boston, Philly, and then it's going to go to Tampa, and then might go back to Boston. No, it's going Boston, Philly, Boston, Tampa. That's just everything. Those games you have to go literally for consideration. You gotta go 6-4 at best, and you better hope that 2 of those losses that I'm giving you is going to go to Philadelphia. I'd rather us lose those 2 games to Philadelphia than falling back to Boston, because they're playing 7 games in Boston total and then 3 games in Tampa. And then after that, it's in Miami. And that might be big, folks, because my birthday's in August. I haven't seen the Yankees play in a while. I might want to see Garrett Cole in person. Might want to give him a in-person gold job. Who knows? But if we're really just under that radar, if we're 20 games back, we're 15 games back, I have zero incentive to drive 2 hours out to Miami to go see the team that I love, because I am disappointed that they can't be better. I am that parent who, if I expect you to get that A in that grade and you get a C, unless you were lazy, but you led to a C anyway, you should hold yourself accountable and deserve more. I'm not going to give you a reward. I'm not going to give you gold stars. I'm not going to take you to Chuck E. Cheese just for passing. I demand more. That's what Papa True does, and that's how I'm feeling about that. But if they're better, then maybe I go down south to Miami. Hell, I might go see 2 games. I don't know. The world's my oyster. But that's my incentive. So that's why I'm asking you, Aaron Boone, to do better, so Francisco can feel my heart of hearts sing into Miami as I go and watch the Yankees play. Because if not, then it's going to be a really sour Christmas. The rest of the schedule doesn't look really that good for us. We can only play Baltimore so many times. And in the end of the season, it's us against Tampa for the final 3 games of the year, which concerns the holy hell out of me, because that might be what matters in the wild card. You know what else matters? You being Eve, fresh out of Eden, living in a suit of armor. Come experience the hybrid of the 16-bit style action game, real-time strategy, and Smelter. So we thank you, Smelter, for supporting us. Francisco's is really leaving me in charge, so this is fantastic. Let's talk about some other baseball news as we're going from here. I watched bits of the Home Run Derby. I didn't really watch much of the All-Star game. I think I have been fatigued from sports to a degree of how it's being kind of portrayed into the media and into the timeline, and the lack of exciting game. So I appreciate to a degree watching the home run derby as I was at the gym. Thank you, my gym, Powerhouse Gym, for having the little ESPN selections in there, because some of the gyms that you go to, you're just like some really weird stuff. I could only listen to Fox News and infomercial for so long until they could change the channel, right? But they had the home run derby there, so it was good to see other batters that I really don't follow, that I don't know if these hitters are coming there, because of course we know who Shohei Ohtani is, we know who Juan Soto is. He was the kid, the miracle worker, basically when the Nationals won their championship back in 2019. But even Dean Trevor story was good because Colorado is not a team that I follow, but being able to see some of these other guys that was coming into it gave me an opportunity to be like invested into it. I know that we have Trey Mancini in Baltimore. I've seen him before, but Pete Alonso, to go back to back with it, to defend that crown, we all know it's just superlatives, but I think it's fun for the entertainment for a sport of what people want is to see dingers half the time. A good quarter of the fan base isn't going to enjoy pitching the way that I may enjoy pitching, the way Francisco may enjoy pitching, definitely the way that Andrew enjoys pitching. They're not going to be as clinical in their love of stuff for knuckleballs or sliders or what kind of seam fastball that you have. We love us some dingers. We love us dingers in our pastries and our treats, and we love us some dingers in our baseball. So I'm kind of impressed with how Pete Alonso was just kind of like murdering every ball that he could to show what his potential is going back to back as a home run champion. Mind you, what does it really mean? I don't know. In truth, if Aaron Judge entered every home run derby, he might be a continuous champion because he was a one and done. He went in, he got that title, and he was out. Show you he don't need to go back there. Apparently, this was the only time, or the third time in history, that was a repeat home run derby. Good on him for making fun with that. Trey Mancini, I was okay. You know, this guy's on my radar a little bit. I know he's been doing some things there. And when Francisco's back on, we'll talk more about that. Shohei Ohtani kind of getting bought out by Juan Soto losing out. I think the narrative, people are like, oh, he went down real quickly. He's not a big guy. Now, we all know I have that whole thing of trash. I don't think Shohei trash. I think he's wonderful. But if you looked at how him and Juan Soto had to kind of go, they went into tiebreakers in the home run derby. It was very competitive, and you want that kind of competitive spirit, especially since you have players that are still developing, still going. Joey Gallo, who I saw with the Rangers, he was knocked out by Trevor Story. That was interesting to say the least. So I had much fun with it, and it gave us some of the ideas. Now, I did not watch the All-Star game fully. Why? Because I had better things to do. I was probably at the gym, or I took a nap. I think Home Run Derby was on Monday, so your boy, he was sleepy from Tuesdays. There was court hearing. It was long. It was arduous. We were successful. Yay. Pillow time was calling me. I think I treated myself to a gyro. You know how I am with the food. It's really one of those things I'm a big fan of. But from the All-Star game, they came up to it. American League won 5-2, I believe. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. ended up being the MVP. Very interesting because I believe what they said was 15 years that they had where Vladdy Daddy was able to go and hit a home run. Now Vladdy Jr. was able to hit a home run and go from there too. Big ups, much appreciation to him for doing it. I didn't watch it. I don't have as much of a love for the All-Star game in baseball anymore when they decide to reformat it and change it to become a situation where it's no longer at play at play for the home field advantage. Freddie, remind me, is Mancini the one that had to go through stage 3 cancer and was able to come back within the season? Because that's inspiring. I don't think people realize for me, I like those stories. I like to see people persevere. I think we all do, but I'm younger. I'm 31, and for me, I'm at that situation. I might not have that wherewithal. I might just give up the hope. I might not even go back to something that is physically demanding and grueling going into it, back into any kind of physical sports, and this guy is. So I think that's important. I really hope I was correct about that statement too, because I'm going to hate myself if I was wrong, but I know somebody on the Orioles was in that situation. I just want to give big props to the right people coming into it. But I'm not necessarily oh yes, he was. Okay, so I'm not ignorant to the world as I deem to be half the time. But I don't know. I think some people don't like the formats that I have loved in the yesteryears of
going with having home field advantage in the finals or the World Series be predicated on who wins an All-Star game. I think that matters. I think if you even had something like that in the NBA, it would be very interesting as opposed to just this 200-point flip-flop game of East versus West. Obviously, you don't do that in football. Football is just whatever they station and go from there. But with baseball, it was something entertaining me, and now they don't have it, and it's like, meh. Shohei Ohtani, I think you only pitch an inning there. The guy's just wonderful to see. I had gripes about Shohei being named the starting pitcher in the All-Star game, considering the fact that I'm petty. I love me some Garrett Cole. He has the highest lead in AL for strikeouts. He's 9-4. Shohei was only 4-1, 3.49, I believe, ERA. Cole was popping in like 2.87, and that's with Spider Tack and non-Spider Tack involved. And I understand that he's an exciting pitcher. I just felt like it was a little bit of a slap in the face to give it to the right guy. But Shohei, I like. I think the momentum that you have of the international components of these superstars that we have created is going to be very good and very interesting for baseball. We've talked about it ad nauseum on the show. When it comes to baseball, it's very stuck and rigid to a sport of the past. And Rob Manfred, and even before that, Bud Selig, an extremely difficult time, I believe, getting the youth culture in there and didn't know how to focus it. And they had those very hard rules of how baseball to be. And this is from coming as a Yankees fan organization where everybody's got to be clean cut, clean shaven, because that's the Yankee way. And even when you have those ideas in the teams and who are you trying to branch out to into the community and into the whole, I guess, social media age as well, where's that quick information, that quick entertainment, where's that whole focus on it? The game's still delayed, and then now we have this whole spider tack. But to be able to highlight in the All-Star game maybe the international prospects, and not prospects of being a player prospect, the prospects of the next faces of the franchise, with Fernando Tatis, with Vladimir Jr., with Shohei Ohtani, of course, with everybody else that we've talked about. I think that's good to kind of make the sport that is prominent, used to be more prominent in the United States, something that's back to an international appeal to get what they want. You see how the NBA is branching out into it with their focus on European players who they draft. Case in point, Doncic and Nikola Jokic. You don't get that, of course, with football. It's really hard with football because you might get some people who are Canadian. They came over to play in college and go from there. But I think they're always going to be kind of closed off of being a true international factory versus when they had NFL Europa. So that'll be interesting to go from that to it to a degree. But it gave them there. And then, as you saw, there's been some controversy building into it where Stephen A. Smith...
What have I missed? I am back.
I don't know. I went and I talked baseball. I talked a lot about the Yankees. I talked about Aaron Boone breaking my soul. I talked about the All-Star game, how I don't watch it because it lost its appeal to me. Because
I didn't watch it at all.
I miss the competitive advantage of getting home field advantage. Screw best record. It made the All-Star games mean something compared to how it's done now and even how it's other sports is done. I talked about the home run derby. He done goofed. Yeah, exactly. I did my thing, man. I did all my things. I had to take a moment to pause and make sure I was right when I said Trey Mancini because Freddie had mentioned Trey Mancini for heart. I'm like, yeah, I like him.
Wow. Wow. You went all over. Oh, wow. Yes.
Yeah, and I'm like, wait a second. Let me be sure that Trey Mancini actually did have catch.
I did want to go over something. And look, guys, we here at the Goose Nest Gift Shop, we're finally adding new things. And today,
I forgot we have that.
Today we've added a brand new for all you ladies out there. You get the tank top women racer back.
You did not. You did not. Holy shit.
With the beautiful mustache that Charles misses oh so much.
I miss it so much. I should have sent you the mustache. Oh my god, we could be our own mustache mountain.
Woo! So
that pink was perfect. Send me that link. I didn't even know we had added on there.
It's in the chat. It's in the chat.
Honestly,
somewhere there. The link is there somewhere. So for the lovely ladies out there,
lovely men, anybody,
yeah.
You want to wear my mustache on your body? Wow, that came out multiple ways. By all means,
this is perfect.
Go ahead.
This is what I wanted.
Go ahead. My mustache is a protective shield, and I don't have it anymore. I'm so clean shaven, it hurts. I'm so clean shaven, you guys. I look like a 1980s villain right now because I got the slick back hair because I'm in full lawyer mode. I would do anything for that mustache. I gotta go get my 70 bell bottoms, bring that back in. Just play some Blink 182 in the background.
Oh boy. So yeah.
That took me by. That
$25, and yeah, you can get that. I should have lowered the price. I should have lowered the price where we're actually losing money on it.
I mean, listen, if there's a single person, if you buy one of those things, I would like go for the stash would not play well. See, that was the adaptation, Freddie, that I had to learn to adjust because I never had facial hair. I think I had at 19, I had the ball sack chin hair that every man has as a rite of passage.
Not
and
me.
you never, well, you're a late bloomer. Time can change. You're like 34. You can do this.
But, no. You know, I can grow the facial hair, man.
Yeah,
Not an issue for me.
let's give you your design. Well, we know. They don't know. Do they know? Have they been following? Do they know? I gave the Twitter shout outs, but you were not there.
I mean, the reason I got this was because you were so, like, you mentioned when I had my mustache, which I shaved off, by the way. But
you sell out. You sell out.
I went on a Bumble date. I had to. But actually,
And
it's
you're
on my.
not getting a
But
call
it's
back
actually
'cause you
on.
shaved it.
It's actually on my profile too. It is one of the several different looks you can get from me, so that whatever stage I'm at, they know exactly what they're getting.
All we had to do was give Francisco a trench coat, a fedora, and a blue coffee cup like Law and Order.
I just spit out my water.
And he literally, all he had to do was like, "Hello, my name's Detective Francisco, and we're here to investigate this." Like, he literally looks like a cop on the beat.
I thought
noir.
the idea. I see. I went with. Well, I thought I looked like, especially after my haircut. I was going for like the Captain Omni thing from Invincible.
Yeah,
which
they're not worth.
fantastic show, by the way.
I've seen the first 3 episodes. It's good stuff for Charles.
Yeah, it is. It hits. Every episode hits. I think every episode hit. Everyone was a banger, for me at least. So
I
yeah.
haven't seen past it, but I know of it.
Yeah. So there you go. Go to Goof's Nut Gift Shop. Link is in the chat. So
Yeah, kids.
yeah. I had that planned since a couple days ago now. Where the hell's my phone?
And it works because what did we do with Andrew? You're the one that's hard for. I feel like we don't have enough merch for you.
I mean, you
But,
see,
like,
I was
Andrew-
gonna. The thing is,
Andrew has
I
something
thought
to
I
it,
was gonna
too,
go with
'cause he
my
has
mustache.
He has thighs, right? Or whatever it
Yeah,
is.
we got the fire thighs as well. All right, and this is just one of our stores. We got the other store, which I haven't put this design on that one yet. They have more options. So you can get a. Let's see. I mean, I could make a blanket out of it in the future if you guys want it.
You guys, what?
It's the
For real?
giant blanket. Yeah, I can make blankets. Hold on. Before I go, let me see. What are the options here? Because they added a bunch of stuff since the last time I actually looked at this.
Can you make a carpet? Because I would just sing a whole new world, but magic mustache.
Let's see.
ride.
We got okay. So they got they added a bunch of women's products, which is the reason why I went with the freaking tank top.
I am.
They got the women's cropped hoodie. They got a women's t-shirt, women's tee. You got new hoodies. You got a zip up. You got a minky blanket. I don't know what the hell that means, but there's a blanket now. So yeah, we can do it all, Charles. We can do it all. You can put your little caterpillar on everything.
My little caterpillar, baby, that was full out. We're gonna be a beautiful butterfly when it fully grows out, man. And there was just the stages. There was the mustache. There was the me looking like a Latin Lothario when I had the mustache and the chin hair, and then when I shaved the chin hair and I made it into a full cop. We went down the rabbit hole, but you know what? This was worth it because this is us giving the hype. This is us giving hype. I still got to figure out for you. I think you should compliment with the mustache too. I literally think you should make one for you. It says "miss you" because you shaved it, and we should get one for Andrew because he can grow facial like that real quick.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen Andrew with just a straight mustache.
I would not. I couldn't contain it. I'm thinking about it right now because if we all had trench coats with those mustaches, we would literally look like cops. I'm trying to think of like what
A little Commissioner Gordon look, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he would literally look like Harvey Bullock from Batman. I can't do this in this thought process and keep a straight face on the show.
I knew this would be fun. I knew, like, hey, yeah, if this show was 2 days ago, nah, we wouldn't have had all this content. But those extra 2 days that we just took, All-Star game happened, all that stuff. There was stuff to talk about, and there was stuff to plan. That's for sure. Commissioner Goof. There we go, Freddie. Freddie's got it. He understands.
It's fine. This is what we should do as a side podcast where we all three act like cops on the beat with mustaches. And, you know,
I don't know.
Mysteries is what we would call it.
I don't know what my
We could make like a true crime podcast about mustache detectives.
Oh, man.
It's in there.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I gotta recover a little bit. Oh, so you talked about this is a sports show. I forgot about that.
I was leading into Stephen A. Smith being.
I did want to do.
Put in his mouth.
Yeah, I did want to do.
That's where I left off at. About to start it.
So like, we got our small segments back. I actually planned for this show. I planned a lot of stuff. And I wanted to throw that out there. So there we go.
We gave them an agenda. We were until I saw the greatest thing ever in my eyes. If I have a child, that child would mean nothing to me compared to what I just witnessed. It would be nothing but a pure.
If you have a child, I'm gonna send you the blanket. I will buy the blanket and send it as my gift.
That's fine, but that's not gonna be better than the first time I saw that blanket. That's what I'm saying. This is relevant to you because I find it. Oh my God, can I send you?
Oh guys, the developers of MechWarriors 5 were like, "What the hell did we pay for?"
MechWarriors 5, false mustache men to it. Can I send your sister a blanket of my mustache for the baby, please?
Oh man, she would not get it, but I would be like, believe me, it's endearing. It's a sign of endearment.
It's super endearing. I give your baby a blanket over in Sicily. Yeah. That's like, that's an established bond. I'm the child's protector now. I'm its Logan. Come on.
Oh man. So what was it? Oh yeah, real MVP. Yeah, Trey Mancini. That's where I was going with.
Yeah, real MVP. I talked about him a little bit. This is good.
There we go. All right, Trey Mancini got to the home run derby final. So there you go. Man did it. Man beat cancer. Comes back and becomes an inspiration. All right, he's been let's say how long has he been in the league? It's been since 2016, all with Baltimore.
Yeah. Like 5-6 years.
Yeah, missed out 2020 because of what kind of cancer did he have? Pancreatic?
Colon cancer.
Colon cancer. Okay. Yeah, colon cancer. So he missed all of the shortened 2020 season. Of course, he plays for the Orioles, so it wasn't like he missed much. Sorry. But yeah, now he's back.
I wouldn't have even come back, man. Even in today's state of affairs.
I mean, he's back now. Yeah, no, he's back. He's hitting 256. He's got 16 homers.
He was in the home run derby, man.
Yeah. All right, he's got some power, got some pop. He's from Winter Haven, Florida.
I lived there. It is terrible, Trey. I'm glad you got out too.
All right, Freddie. He went to Notre Dame. Look at that. Look at that, Freddie. Your beloved Fighting Irish as well. And how much is this man getting paid?
He should still be on a cheap contract.
He's made $11 million in his career. No, right now, no, he got the bump up. He's making $4 million. Got the bump up already.
With the MLB, man. Like, people complain about those big contracts that are handed out, but they forget how much you're basically screwed over.
Oh, he's going on. I mean,
it's first years.
Probably going to go on. I don't know. I don't know if I mean, does it sound bad that the Orioles would go to arbitration on the cancer man?
You know who would take cancer man? New York Yankees. Just saying.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
But we never really poach Oriole players. Zach Britton was the only one that I can recall.
Mike Mussina.
For a while. But that's a different. I mean, I'm talking about just like this like 5-10 years because they haven't produced anybody.
Yeah. Okay.
One other guy was Manny Machado, and we're like, no one wanted it. I think LA's like
Yeah. I mean, Machado. Let's see. So, okay. So, yeah, Mancini. That's my real MVP. That's where I went. And Yeah, so that was the theme there with regards to that. And then, well, since you were on Stephen A, since you were there, that's where I was going.
We finally
the
got him.
contrast.
We've been doing this for like a year and a half, and I don't think we ever got Stephen A on it.
Well, I mean, he says stuff, but I didn't find anything that was like. I just kind of like it was for me. It was like, okay, Stephen A being Stephen A. Yeah, he wasn't. He didn't do like, I don't know. Maybe Skip Bayless is a little more like that, because Stephen A is pretty much like, he says outrageous things, but like nothing that kind of walked the line of like xenophobia or anything like that.
Until now.
or just why don't they all speak English? That type of thing.
He could lie and say he didn't mean it,
but you gotta remember he doesn't watch baseball. Stephen A doesn't watch baseball.
It's really just basketball.
Yeah, he just watches basketball, the NFL. So he deals with just American players and the Euros that come on over. But those guys are always speaking English anyways, right? I don't think there's like a single foreign NBA player that needs an interpreter. Or carries around an interpreter. It seems like what? Jokic doesn't have one? I don't think so.
I think so.
No, not Goran, not Luka, not the Lopez brothers or the Gasol brothers or Giannis. None of them. All of them speak English, right? But it seems like in baseball, because even the hockey players, even I think most of the hockey players, they'll talk. It's very basic English, but they will speak English to people, and they don't really use an interpreter.
It's not fracted, yeah. I mean, they're pretty standard.
I mean, it's basic. It's basic enough. It gets them by, right? It gets them by to do like the interviews. Like, whoa, what did you think of that first period and your first shot? Well, I think I had a very good chance, and that was it, right? Like, I just saw the shot. We have to work very hard in the second period, and that's it, right? And then they off on their way.
We'll give a shout out to Andrew, number one bullshit.
Yeah, well, damn fucking Lightning, man. what Lightning are what happens if Rednecks win the Stanley Cup, and look what happened.
Lord Stanley got dented.
Yeah, well, all that Pabst Blue Ribbon that they were pouring inside of it.
BU, to answer your question, since we're still on Got Legumes, he just skims headlines and spew nonsense and rubs elbows with basketball players who probably
he gets paid like $10 million or something like that. I don't know. It's ridiculous.
Well, he does a lot for ESPN because he is your primary content. He has First Take, and then he has his show.
No,
and then he does NBA.
He permeated the whole. Yeah, he permeated the whole thing. He was at the frickin' the fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you remember Brick from Brick Tamlin or Ron Burgundy, the Anchorman movie,
yeah.
Steve Carell, and he just goes, loud noises! That's literally Stephen A. Smith in that caricature, in my opinion. And then he'll just throw a trident at anybody who just talks. He'll just throw a trident at Brian Windhurst for talking trash about LeBron James.
Let's see. So BU's got some stuff here. Let's see. It's not like you can really tell the difference between English as a first language speakers or not in hockey interviews anyways. They say the same 10 lines regardless of the point we're in. Yeah, they are completely useless. That's for sure. As far as the in-between period conversations they have with guys. Sometimes, I guess the native English Canadian speakers and the American speakers or whatever, because sometimes you get those guys that grew up in Quebec and they have an accent at the very least, but you might get a little bit of personality out of them, but that's very rare in hockey. We just got rid of Keith Yano, by the way, so we got rid of a ton of personality today for the Florida Panthers. We bought them out, and Pantherland is celebrating right now. No more Iron Man controversy. Keith Yano, you can continue your streak in Buffalo or something. They'll probably take you. Oh, boy. I went off on a tangent there, but yeah. But baseball players, I get some of the guys that, let's say you are from the Dominican or wherever, and you just got brought up. Like, you hit single A, then double A, and then they just instantly put you in the show. that's not much time to learn the English language, right?
Every language.
English is incredibly hard to learn for a lot of people. So I get guys needing an interpreter for that reason alone. And sometimes, like, Starling Marte used an interpreter. And he's been in the game for a while, right? I think he's probably been in, what, like, I don't know, 11, 10 years now? Something like that. Feels like it.
Man, because
But
the point is that he's saying you can't be the face of this
sport, if you can't speak English.
You can't speak English. I'm like, what?
Yeah, look, and there are reasons why guys use interpreters. I gave you one reason. Look, they might be young, or they just came and they are learning the language, right? But they just need to get a handle of it, and for now they're going to use an interpreter. So, or Starling Marte, who uses one. From what I've heard, he uses it just so he can give his buddy a job. Because I think the interpreters are. I don't know if I don't think the team hires, or the team hires them. Yeah, but I think the player selects who they want, right? So he uses an interpreter just to give that guy a job, which is incredibly awesome. Because he can speak English. Like, Marche's been here long enough. He lived in Pittsburgh, for God's sake, right? You think they're selling Platanos or whatever in Pittsburgh? No.
I wouldn't eat half the stuff they're selling in Pittsburgh now. I'm scared.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, there are some places. Okay, another conversation. We're going off on tangent. There are some cities where you just can't have a certain version of food over there because they ain't gonna do it right.
No, I don't know.
From what I've heard from a ton of people who've moved to California that are from the East Coast, especially like New York, they don't do bagels right. They don't do bagels right, and I believe that. And they don't do pizza right, and I believe that too.
Yep.
I absolutely believe that. So, yeah. Okay, another tangent. Yeah, but whatever. Yeah. So Starling Marte did that, but saying you can't be the face, I swear, I bet you, if let's say a superstar NBA player comes out of, I don't know, Nigeria or he's Congolese or what have you, right? And gosh, I don't know that much about those countries to say, because a lot of countries, foreign countries, do teach English. Even Japan, they have English classes, right? A ton of people from here go to Japan just to be English teachers and have like their gap year or whatever over there.
But let's attack something that Stephen A. Smith, who's going to be versed on the sport only. Yao Ming was actually at a point considered a face of basketball. I'm gonna say that.
That's true.
Face, but a face. And
so much so, the NBA staked a ton of their soul to sell to the Chinese. Okay.
They had the year of the Yao documentary that came into it, and Yao's English was typical. I don't know how to say it, but it was fine but difficult and everything like that.
Oh, he got better, obviously.
Yeah, and so you're not gonna. He played for the league for 8 years, and that's not even counting the injuries coming into it. But you don't hear him saying Yao couldn't be it. You just hear about how he's dominating. So why is it that Shohei cannot be dominating and can't get that slack? Because his letter of the game, his gift to the game as a hitter and a pitcher, does not need translation. There you go. That's the way to say it. Because I mean, the only way I kind of understand it is if his pitching is actually more than just a abnormality, because I don't see it sustainable for the next 5-10 years. 27s, because at some point concern.
We'll see if he's.
But you have pitchers and catchers like Gary Sanchez. He speaks Spanish, so if you have like Domingo Germán or other Spanish-speaking pitchers, maybe that fits a little bit better. Maybe it's for the convenience there, but that's not to my case. There's some solid communication between catcher and pitcher, and it works out pretty well because he is 4-1, right, with a decent ERA, not the best, Garrett Cole, but something. And he does not need that interpreter to help him when knock out some dingers, even. And I'm gonna love it. I'm gonna love it when he wins MVP, and I'm gonna be like, in your face, right? Because it's just nonsensical. Because I think what happened is we don't prepare for the shows. Everybody knows this. We barely prepare.
but we come ready with thought, and we try not to be as ignorant as possible. I do contribute to that ignorance. This is a guy who's paid to prepare, and he went and kind of showed his hand. And I don't believe his apology.
I mean, there's look at this. Yeah, no, look at this other stuff. Like stuff he said about the Nigerian team. I mean,
that was the other thing that leads him to being. Did you watch that segment when he just calls him like, I don't even know how to say these names, stuff like that? So, is that supposed to be lesser? Is that supposed to,
it's just as bad, man.
Not,
it's just as bad, man. Yeah. Look, and we haven't done the Andrews how to pronounce name game in a while, but we do that as, I mean, look, it's all learn to goof, right?
I can barely speak English.
Yeah,
I'm an idiot. I don't use it as an insult to them. I mean, for an insult to my own self, right? Yeah. Because all I'm waiting for is Stephen A. Smith, and for anybody who hears the recording, I'm gonna put this disclaimer. This is me talking about Stephen A. Smith and his own private thoughts. Not, don't take my snap recording of what I'm saying here, go there, and say it's us. Bringing it back to Stephen A. Smith probably looks at Bo and goes, Bo, what the hell's that kind of name? You can't be no broad, James. There you go. That's me and my Stephen A. Smith.
Yep.
It really is reflective of who we might be as a person.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I mean, how old is this man? He's old, right? He's like, what?
He's got to be
55 or something, right? He's 53. Okay, I was close. 53 from the Bronx. All right. I mean, you would think he would watch some Yankees games, right? You would think. But, if the face of the Yankees was, I mean, who on the Yankees?
Biracial baby, man.
Our Lord and Savior Derek Jeter was the face of the Yankees, and he was perfectly well spoken and knew English perfectly well. But if it was Shohei Ohtani, would things have changed? If Shohei Ohtani was a Yankees player, would Stephen A. Smith have said the same? I don't know. That could have been a possibility too. There's a lot of unbiased with Stephen A. We know that. All right.
Oh, yeah.
If the Knicks ever got good.
Well, that's the whole thing.
Be insufferable.
Luka Doncic.
But luckily, I don't watch ESPN. This is why. Yeah, this is the reason. There's a lot of reasons why I don't watch ESPN. There's a lot of reasons why. There are a ton of reasons, and one of them is it's not needed no more. Okay, and we had an episode a couple weeks or a couple episodes back or whatever. We gave you a whole bunch of suggestions as to who and what you can listen to for all of your stuff. All right, you want some basketball stuff? Go to Andy Hoops. Andy Hoops, you want to learn about basketball? Go to that man's channel, okay? Go to that man's channel, and you will learn. You will learn a lot about history, a lot about the game. You want to know about hockey? Go check out the Hockey Guys channel on YouTube. You want to know about some hockey? You want to see some breakdowns and stuff like that? You want to see him and his cats? Go ahead and watch that, right? Baseball.
You want some pure bias sports of ignorant guys who are not ignorant like Stephen A. Smith? Follow Sports Goofs.
Yeah, exactly. Right. You look, man. We got the McDonald's sponsorship. All right.
And we will listen.
We still haven't gone.
McDonald's. I went late Saturday night and over where I was living by 95, and they were closed.
Oh.
It was 12:30 at night.
You made the attempt.
We went to go see Black Widow. Everybody had eaten before me because I took a super power nap from exercising, and I was like, damn, I'm hungry. I leave at like 12. I get home by 1. I go to McDonald's by me, and they were closed for dining that night for whatever reason, and I was ready to try. So that ain't on me. What's our baseball guy? I keep forgetting his name, but I know you know.
Which one?
Baseball is bad or baseball is dead?
Baseball doesn't exist. There you
Baseball
go.
doesn't exist.
That one's a good one. That one's a good one too, right? Foolish Bits. That's a good baseball channel too. All right, I haven't really watched much NFL channels much, but there, who was it? I think Soft Drink Sports TV or something like. There's one that's like does the esports gaming and he was the one that started like the whole boycott Madden thing and stuff like that. That's a good channel too, right? He said the best sports game of the past generation has been Rocket League, and I agree with him. That's been the best sports video game in the last generation of consoles. So
Francisco has like 200 hours into it. I have 15, and still enjoyable.
It is well more than 200 hours, I think.
Counting PC.
Well, no, now it's merged, right? So that you merged the account, so it's I could play on PC and Switch and just like it's all one thing now. So now it's even more ridiculous.
You know what else you can play? Smelter.
Yeah, get that. Get Mech Warriors 5 as well. I can do that too. Okay, so that's Gottlieb's Goons. That's the only one I got, Stephen A. And you came up with it, so I think we were on the same page there. It was pretty obvious.
Same radar, baby.
There's not much. There's nobody. There's not too many goons or people putting their foot in their mouths.
I mean, Aaron Boone is going to be very Rob Manfred level, like every week.
Oh, did you see him getting booed at the MLB draft? That was
Good.
No, well, first off, I don't know where. I think it was held in Colorado, right? I think they added it as part of one of the All-Star festivity things.
Yeah, because last year.
Yeah, so I guess they're trying to make it a thing now, finally. Because before it was like no, it was not televised, and then it became televised at the MLB Network studios.
Correct.
For like the last few years, and now I think this might have been the first year where they did it with actual other human beings watching it, like the NBA and the NHL and the NFL draft. And Rob Manfred got the Roger Goodell, Gary Bettman treatment. So you've made it.
Yeah, final.
Yeah. So
we can't wait till you're taken out. But hey, while you're here, give us something to do.
Yeah. Okay, so we are at. I think I can do one thing. I can do
Go ahead.
One last one to kind of bridge us over to the 1 hour mark here. So, I had. Gosh, okay, we did Goons. No, no, I can't do that one right now. There's not enough time. I planned the whole big thing. Oh, you know what? Let's do Uncultured Swine. All right.
Yeah.
That'll get us over. So Uncultured Swine. And actually, it makes a nice segue from here. So, Stephen A., maybe you should watch our show. Maybe you actually learn something. Yeah, nobody learns anything on ESPN anymore. That's another thing. You don't learn anything on ESPN anymore. They could take you to those fancy studios and have all the freaking graphics and all that stuff all over the place. But you ain't going to learn. You're not going to learn.
There's no need to watch it.
All right.
You can learn about fantasy football by just reading on their app.
Don't watch the NBA. Don't watch the NBA pregame show. Don't watch any of that stuff. You're not gonna learn nothing. All right. This isn't. Was it? Inside the NBA or whatever. This ain't it. All right. Damn, man. Oh, if only they had the rights to the NBA Finals. That'd be so amazing. I'd love it. Okay. Where was it? By the way, Marie Taylor actually might leave ESPN, which would be the ultimate awesome thing for this to happen. All of this drama, and she just ups and bolts off to NBC Sports. Yeah, it'd be amazing. Go get your money, girl. Oh, I should have had her as a freaking You Go girl. I didn't have that.
Well,
all right. Well, I'll do that sometime. No, when she gets the job. Either NBC or whoever throws that money at her, that's when I'll do it. Get yourself out of ESPN and all those, all of their, I don't know what the hell they're doing. Whatever. Yeah. So where was I? Oh yeah. So, let's see if I can spell this. You know what? I'm just gonna put this.
Yeah, this ain't the spelling bee, which also was aired on ESPN.
Yeah. So, the Hokkaido Nippon Ham Fighters. God, man, I did that in a very racist Japanese accent.
I mean, how else? But thank you. Here we are going on this whole thing about Stephen A. Smith. And you know what?
I was trying to be authentic. I've been watching the Godzilla anime that just popped out. It's
at least it wasn't me. Hokkaido Nippon Ham Fighters.
Yes.
But it lacks that effectiveness and steel if I just go with my basic, pure Midwestern Americana voice. Hokkaido. Nippon. I would screw this up and just call it Hokkaido Nipple.
Hokkaido Nipple Ham. Hokkaido Nippon Ham Fighters. They were established in 1945. They play in the Nippon Professional Baseball League out in Japan. They used to be called the Senators back when they were established, and then became the Flyers, but realized that name was a team for frauds. So they changed their names to the Fighters back in 1974. They've won 3 championships. Their last one was back in 2016. And their notable alumni, Shohei Ohtani, 2013 through 2017. And he went off to die in Anaheim. Should have stayed, man. Did you see the Angels at the draft? They drafted all pitchers. They drafted all pitchers.
But you know what, man, though? Good. Because they're not like Detroit, who the Twitter world, like, I guess that's where every Detroit Tiger fan congregates, hated everything of who they drafted, who I already forgot, but it was Jack Leiter. Yeah. Jack Leiter went to Texas. I was very sad. We got a shortstop. I don't know if it's needed. But
and the Mets got a freaking rocker.
Yeah, Kumar. And I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah. How
many more great pitchers do you need, man? Because he's going to be a 2-year project, and then he's going to be playing the big leagues. And then the Mets,
this competent Mets team is going to irk me. Because they're in our division, and they're the team that you guys face every season. So,
can't deal with that.
I mean, if the Mets are better than the Yankees for a decade, I mean, I think that was the '80s, right? The Mets were better than the Yankees.
To be fair, they went to the World Series in 2015, and it was the most non-memorable World Series out there, so it's okay.
Yeah, well,
everybody remembers our World Series, even when we lose.
Yeah.
No one really remembers the Mets.
Go Fish. All right, so the Nippon Ham Fighters. So Shohei Ohtani, Yu Darvish, another alumni, that's currently playing out in San Diego. Kohei Ariara, he's also another current ball player that's in Major League Baseball that played for them. And a past one here, Hideki Kojima. I don't know if you remember that. And that's a player remember forget.
I remember that.
Yeah, Boston Red Sox 2007 World Series. That's where he won there. And as far as managers, Trey Hillman was the Marlins' current third base coach. He's buddies with Don Mattingly. Used to manage the Royals as well before I think Ned Yost took over that job. And then they won the World Series a few years later. But he managed that team back in 2006, and they won the Japan Series championship. So he had success back in Japan. So yeah, Nippon Ham is actually a meat packing company, so it is a sponsored team. So they other leagues in international markets have already sold out, folks. Okay,
but call them ham fighters makes me think they're resistant towards ham. I just imagine a lot of vegans just punching pigs, man.
I bet you that would sell someplace.
I can get down for that. That'd be funny. Not animal cruelty, but I'm just talking about like punching packets of ham.
Beating up butchers.
Yes.
So yeah, there's that, and they moved to Sapporo in Hokkaido in 2004, which is the northernmost island in Japan, and I guess they used to play out in Tokyo, and they played in the Tokyo Dome and shared it with the Yomiuri Giants, which is basically like, it would be like if the New York Mets shared Yankee Stadium. Well, actually, the Yankees shared Shea Stadium for like a couple seasons while they renovated Yankee Stadium, but it'd be the reverse of that. So like the better team it's like the Clippers and the Lakers, actually.
Yeah, that's where your focus is.
Yeah, it's like the Clippers and Lakers. So they were like the Clippers when they were playing with the Lakers. Like they knew they were getting second fiddle to that team. So they moved out to Hokkaido to play out there, and lo and behold, they found some success out there. So they play at the Sapporo Dome out in Hokkaido, opened in 2001. 42,000 people fit in that place, and it was used in the 2002 World Cup, which Japan hosted. It was also in the 2019 Rugby World Cup, which Japan hosted, and was it's actually going to be one of the soccer venues that's going to be in the Olympics this year. It also has a retractable field. So they remove the field. They have two surfaces, a turf surface for baseball and a grass surface for soccer. So when they play baseball, they put it in the fake grass, and then soccer grass is outside, getting all the sun, just kind of like what they do in Arizona with the, I don't know, was it? It's State Farm Stadium now or something like that. Yeah, so there you go. So
Unlike that, they don't suck though.
No. Well, I don't know what I don't know what they're. I have no idea what's going on in the Palm Baseball League, but I love their highlights when they show them on Twitter. That's for sure. But they have boring ass stadiums over there. Like none of their stadiums are interesting. None of them are. They're all just kind of concrete domes, more built for function than anything else.
Not everything can be Lone Depot Park, bud.
Yeah, well. Okay, so that got us over. Let's head on over to a word from our non-sponsors, people, places, things, concepts, what have you, that we've been enjoying over the last week. A lot of stuff. Actually, I'm going to go first, right?
Go ahead.
So, guys, the gaming backlog, the gaming collection, all right, it's trimmed down, right? But I'm swimming in money right now because of
Cash money, homies.
Yeah, straight cash. I just hopefully the government doesn't find out. And it's been good. It's been all right. It's been freeing, right? I know I'm not going to play these things, and it's hard to curate a collection like that, man. It is hard to curate that. I'm just thinking about, like, because I'm still trying to buy a house or whatever, and I'm just like, the upkeep of having the collection and having the storage for it and having the connections and all, like, it just seemed like a headache to me at the end, because I know I'm not going to play my Sega Saturn much. I know I won't. I have the gaming PC to do all of that for me. That's why I bought it. So Sega Saturn's gone. So goodbye to that. The 10-year-old me is incredibly pissed off right now and crying. But I'll take him to McDonald's and get him a Happy Meal, right? Get that BTS meal. Okay. I'm probably never going to go and get that, to be honest. Sorry, McDonald's. I'm sorry. I probably will.
I was going to. I was going to get the spicy chicken or that, but continue.
So, well, Charles, just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in. This is my non-sponsor. It's the Xbox 360.
24 salute, baby.
Yeah, man. It only took 16 years for me to get one, but here I am, catching up. So the Xbox 360, yes. My dad was able to grab a hold of one that somebody was trying to get rid of. They didn't want to go through the hassle of selling it, whatever, like I do. But I can't sell this bad boy right now because it ain't worth a damn at this point. It's not really worth selling, to be honest. So I'll wait a couple years. Huh?
They're never really going to be because of backward compatibility.
Well, actually, no, well, you'll be surprised, actually. You would be surprised. A lot of collectors, if you're like a hardcore collector, you want physical copies of things like that. It doesn't matter if they've re-released a lot of games. But you got to be really selective with regards to the Xbox library because the exclusives aren't really their thing, right? They're not Sony, they're not Nintendo. They don't really have that kind of pull, right? Especially Nintendo. Nintendo games always sell at high prices. But regardless, I got this bad boy. It's not the original run of 360s, thank God, so it probably won't red ring on me. It also has the HDMI port in the back, which is really good for me. So I can get that 1080p in good condition. Came with Call of Duty Black Ops 3, which Charles was surprised they actually released for the damn thing.
Yep.
That released back in 2015, so Microsoft supported this damn thing for quite a while. And I don't know, man. It's a nifty little box. I could see why people liked it back then. I was back with the Wii. I didn't know. I didn't know much. My cousins had 360s. They had PS3s. Nobody I knew had a gaming PC. I know that. But my best friend in college, he had a 360. It red ringed on him, and he bought a PS3 while we were roommates. So there was that, and I played that. But I've really been enjoying it. I played 2 Human yesterday for about an hour and a half. So that was I can see why people the critics panned that game from the outset. It has an interesting premise. It's a like a science fiction Norse mythology crossover that's happening, which is pretty cool, but execution is not good. But whatever. It's a dumb game. It's a dumb game to play. All right, mash some buttons and get through. That's what it's going to be for me. I think it's about 10 hours long. I'll get through it. But it's free for anybody that has an Xbox, by the way. If you have a 360 or Xbox One or Series X, it is free because the guys who developed it, Silicon Knights, who developed some pretty good games on the GameCube.
They did Twin Snakes, right?
Yeah, they did Twin Snakes and they did Eternal Darkness. They used an illegal version of Unreal Engine 3. Epic Games found out. They sued them, and they can't sell it for profit no more. So Microsoft's like, all right, it's free now. So there you go. But yeah, man, all the updates on it has YouTube, has Netflix and stuff like that. But of course, I don't need it for anything like that. Everything else has that. But I've enjoyed it so far. I've enjoyed it. I bought some games. I'm gonna play Metal Gear Solid
Again?
2, 3, and Peace Walker. Those are the 3 I haven't played through. So I got
I'm very interested in hearing what you think of 2.
Yeah, 360 versions of that. I mean, I've seen the story and all that stuff, but I'm actually gonna play it for once now.
Yeah.
And I got Metal Gear Rising today. So
That was fun.
Some dumb fun with Raiden, mashing buttons. Gotta love the hack and slash, right? And if you're gonna collect for the 360, I'd say you do it now while the games are cheap. That's for sure, because those Zoomers are about to have their midlife crises in a few years, and they're gonna want this thing back. So I am getting set for that. So promo code FOMO.
Right. FOMO, yeah. I thoroughly enjoyed my 360. I actually have it still hooked up now. I still have some unresolved games to play, but I barely can play any of my new consoles without being fatigued.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, it is most played out of that generation because I had both the 360, the Wii, and the PS3. I think I got the Wii, and then like a week later I got the 360 because selective games. I want to play Rainbow Six with my buddies, and then Wii Sports.
I think most people did
PS3
that.
came later.
Right? Like I think most people did that, the combo of either PS3 or 360 and then a Wii.
Yeah. Plus, I love the 360's controller. It was
Oh,
very
yeah.
sturdy. It was good compared to the PS3, which was too light and felt flimsy. 360 felt nice and stern.
360, yeah, I've liked this controller. I've got a black one. I hear the criticisms on the D-pad are correct. It sucks compared to, but it's because Nintendo had a patent on it, and everybody had to make their own designs, and it's clear Microsoft didn't figure it out. So, luckily that ended. There you go. All right.
Collectively evil. How do I want to start this? I'm a vain person. We know this. I believe outer beauty equals inner beauty. You have to keep it great, keep it tight, keep it looking good. And sometimes that plays into my hair. I'm very much Johnny Bravo with my hair. One of my greatest fears is going bald and how I'm going to initially go bald. We're all going to go bald at some point, or we're going to die early. And, if I have to keep my head of hair, maybe I'll take option 2 instead of option 1, right? Instead of going into it. But right now, the hair is growing kind of long. I'll get it cut in a couple of weeks, but I gotta get that look. I get that professionalism. My stuff kind of moppy around. So my non-sponsor of the week is my current hair product of Cremo pomade, high hold, high shine. There's differences, Francisco. You don't understand, but I am rocking that 1980s Michael Douglas Wall Street greed is good look lately, because the longer the hair that I have, the more contained it needs to be. When I get that shortcut now, where it's a one on the sides and the back and off the top, it's okay. It can manage even without product. But when your boy is several weeks in, you need the product. And we're going back in person, kids. We're going back in person for a lot of my court hearings now. Zoom is still there, but we're one step away from me just dissolving that son of a gun or deleting that son of a gun from my computer. Thank God. I don't hate it, but I hate it when it's a hearing that is happening and the bad internet connectivity either on my end or on the judge's end or anybody else's end causes it to stall out. But I gotta get it going. I gotta get it looking right. And I have ran out one thing, so let me just go get my other one. But that high hope, that high shine, look at that is basically my hair. I'm not even kidding. Like coming into it, I even got new brush and comb for it. But that was for my purposes. That's when you have a couple of years. But I've been using Crema for like a year and a half now. Going into it, it was something that was recommended to me because I don't like to buy any hair products or soap that has a lot of artificial craziness in there, and they mostly do. The problem is in this world is that a lot of natural products tend to be much more expensive, but I use Dr. Bronner's peppermint soap for my body. I use Mill Creek Botanicals for my hair, biotin and keratin, coming into it because I don't want that as much. I don't want as much propofol and all that stuff. I even use Cremo's shaving creams because it doesn't have
matte finish. That's right there. I like that.
That matte finish right there. You want that dirty look come into it.
Yeah.
And you've seen my hair. You met me in person. It's not like the days in law school when I had the buzz cut for the first year, which was great, and then I let it grow back. I've been a professional now 4 years. I look the part, be the part, as Proposition Joe would say from The Wire. Great show. Yeah, I should watch it. I got to continue watching it with part 2 of my season rewatch. But, it's not sticky substance. It holds pretty well. It goes into it. It's not greasy. Some hair products, if you have longer hair like mine, gets greasy. And I'm telling you, when you're slicking it back and put it to the side, it's because the guy had a hair. And then I live in Florida, man. We're in July. This is probably the worst time of the year for anybody who's a head sweater like myself. So to get all that product and everything running down into it, get that greasy forehead, nah. So I've always been happy with them. I mean, if I find a more not necessarily organic but chemical-less free products, then I'll transition up. I think it's
a sea salt texture. Awesome.
Yeah, I don't use it. I've had the texture cream before, but not that sea salt. But I'm familiar with pomade. And it's different from some other pomades because some pomades I've had are like super sticky. This one's actually soft, easy to put into hair and going from there. So, if you're wondering why do I look like a villain from an 80s movie, thank you, Cremo. Thank you for even keeping my skin silky smooth. Because, man, don't buy Barbasol. Don't buy Skintimate.
Yeah, they got everything here. Sheesh.
Yeah, because what happens is when you're getting ethyl alcohol in there, you're getting lighter fluid essentially touching your skin. That's what's going to ruin it.
Yeah, the face wash, the face scrubs.
Yeah, I don't go that crazy.
Oh, okay.
I just use peppermint soap and that's it, man. Dr. Bronner's, it's good.
Wash your face, they got the shaving creams right here.
I use the shaving cream, but I've been noticing my hair a little bit. Catching that. I'm like, what's up, God? What's up? I'm looking, I'm like, you single dude? What's up? You cute. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Thank you. Thank you to Cremo, High Hold, High Shine Pomade. But every now and then, we know we talk about food, but there's a different package side. What I put in my belly, it's how I look outside reflectively. Everyone's like, this vain motherfucker coming in here. But I like them when I find something that isn't terrible. I also use their beard cream when I had the facial hair. It had like a maple oak scent, and I loved it. Bourbon maple oak or something of that nature. It was great. I just gotta grow out the facial hair. I think this is the side with your mustache that you wrongfully deleted and destroyed, the beard and scruff, and then with that beautiful shirt that you all should buy for $25 on our merch link of Missing You, because I miss you and we all miss you. And now we're on this is Destin. So Cremo, I don't know how to say it. Non-sponsors. Both for your pomade, for high shine, high hold, keeps my stare tight, helping me look like a professional, not like a shelf. Because in this industry, unfortunately, image does matter. That's why my suits are from Express, and that's why my hair products are from Cremo. Mind you, I do get other suits elsewhere. But, you can be the most competent lawyer, but if you look like a hobo, no one's going to want to hire you, right? Thankfully, I'm in a nonprofit world, but I think you and I agree into this in our world. You haven't seen, did any of your clients see that beautiful mustache?
No, I had a mask on.
Ah, right. Same.
Well, I don't. Well, I mean, I had it for like a few days, right? So, let's see. Well, a few thousand people saw it at the Marlins game.
Exactly, and they all bowed to it. But Cremo, most specifically, High Hold, High Shine Pomade, but even the organization itself, promo code. I just want to say Johnny Bravo because that hair is that is what is synonymous for. So that's my non-sprouts of the week.
All right. Yeah. There we go. All right, some good ones this week. I like them. Okay, so we are done with that. Done with Uncultured Swine. We're done with both of those. Let's see what we got here.
Doc Peterson to the Braves.
Really?
Yep.
So they found their Acuna replacement, huh? Well, let's see. Where are they in the standings? I mean, we might as well go through it. We're at the half. I mean, we're technically not the halfway point because everybody's played more than 81 games, but it's the spiritual halfway point. At the moment, see, the Mets lead National League East 3.5 games over the Phillies. The Braves are 4 games behind, so they're actually not that far back. The NL East is terrible. I'm just gonna say this now. Like, the Mets, they're okay for this division, but they ain't winning any other division in this league. They're not. It's by virtue of the fact that they're in the NL East that they're in first place. That's how I feel, because the Marlins have been competitive against all of them. They're in last place, so they ain't that great. So the Mets first place, and the Nationals at 6 games back. The Marlins are 9 games back. So that ain't happening. We're gonna sell off at the deadline. You want Starling Marte, Charles? You want Starling Marte? You need him?
Yeah, I'm looking to sell.
Adam Duvall. Wow, already selling.
I was saying.
Well, I mean, yeah, you've been saying this all. You've been saying this already. Like, hey, plan for 2022.
Yeah, plan for 2022. It's hard to get rid of certain guys, but also, particular third basemen that I want. True story. I'll give you a shot. Yeah, break that out a little bit.
Okay. So Milwaukee in first place, Central 4 games ahead of Cincinnati. The Reds are hot. Nick Castellanos is hitting a bunch of drives into deep left field, and we all love him for it. Cubs are terrible. The Cardinals are terrible. The Pirates are even more terrible. The San Francisco Giants are still in first place, and nobody knows how, and it's great. Over the Dodgers, yep, 2 games ahead. The Padres, who are doing well this season, but in that division, they're 6 games back. So they're 6 games back, and yet they just can't. Any other division, they're probably in first place. And actually,
any other division, they're the best team in that division, bar none. That's the weird part.
Yeah, probably. But they're facing those 2 other teams in their division, yeah. And then whoever wins the division, it's just whoever destroys the Rockies and Diamondbacks more, honestly. So
yeah,
there you go. Diamondback. Oh man, this tank that the Diamondbacks have created is amazing. I love it. Absolutely love it. They are 32.5 games back of the Giants. Oh, that's a saucy number, and I love it. They are 26 and 66. I want to see how far that can go.
Problem is, they're always like that too. Every year, there's a minute of competition, and then it's just a downward spiral.
Yeah, but this is
that won a World Series.
This is the worst of the spirals so far. Yep. So, Red Sox in first place, 1.5 games over the Rays.
Yep.
The Yanks and the Blue Jays, 8 games back. Guys have winning records, just not in comparison to those 2 teams.
We're not going to have it for long. As I was telling on your little hiatus, 8 of the 10 next games are against AL East competitions.
Mm-hmm.
It goes Boston for like 4 games, 2 games against Philly, 3 games to Boston, and then the rest of the Rays. Yeah. We're going to be like 10 games behind first place.
Oh, you guys,
and I say so.
I think you guys face us this month too, right?
July
so
31st,
the Marlins.
July 30th, and August.
Yep. So
August 1st.
We'll see what the Marlins have. They're gonna sell. They have to. They just have to. There's no way. There's no way with this team right now.
But what's even the purpose? When you contemplate selling, when you're a team that's still in the so you're more closer to contention. You're not like the Cubs who had to really sell because everything was a disappointment.
As much as Starling Marte, I think, would like to stay here, I don't know if the Marlins are willing to throw that money at a guy who's, I think Marte is like 32 years old now.
I think 32 when I last.
Yeah, 32 years old. He'll probably want like a 3 or 4 year contract to get him over that.
33 in October.
Yeah, so it's not. He's only gonna just go down, right? It's just the way things are. He's not gonna be. He's not a Hall of Fame player or anything like that. He's an above average player. So, good guy to have on your team. Good piece. So that's I think any other team would want him. That's in contention right now. So, get somebody for him. All right, so I think Adam Duvall, we could probably flip to an American League team, have him as DH, be perfect. Where are we? Orioles suck. We all know this. The White Sox, Tony La Russa, he got them in first place. So we'll see how that ends in disaster or not. The Indians are 8 games back, and then the rest of the division is awful. Then the Astros, 3.5 games ahead of Oakland at the moment. The A's hanging around. That's a back and forth thing between those two. One gets hot, one gets cold.
Houston's just going to take that steam and go.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see what the A's do, but it seems like they've had streaks of hot and cold and flip flopping between them. Like one team will win 10 games in a row, and then the other team will win 10 games in a row, and then it'll be like that. So, and the Mariners are all right this far into the season, which is a surprise.
I think they're our record.
Yeah.
3 games over 500.
Yeah, 40 and 43. Yeah, basically. Oh, actually, they have a slightly better winning percentage. So they're better than you guys at the moment. And then the Angels, who are wasting the careers of 2 great players. And the Rangers suck. So that's the baseball. That's your baseball recap. There we are. We're at the halfway point. And Charles, giving your thoughts on the Yanks. My thoughts on the Marlins. So there we go. All right. Next. What did I have on here? I had something. Oh, wait. A big long thing, but that's what she said.
Just like your mustache.
Oh yeah. Okay. Had other small segments to get us over the hump here. A better known minor league team. So I haven't done this in forever. Ton of minor league teams out there, even though Major League Baseball has cut a ton of them, but they're still there. They're still fighting. They're still existing as well. And this one, I watched a fantastic documentary on Netflix, and it's the first time I'm highlighting a team that did not exist at one point, but is back in a way right now, and it is the Portland Mavericks. All right, Charles.
2 hybrid babies.
You look at
Portland and the Mavericks.
Yeah, the Portland Mavericks baseball team played in Single A, short season, established in 1973, and then they were in the Northwest League, which Major League Baseball killed this year because of realignment. And so in 1973 there were no independent baseball teams, right? We've seen these independent leagues all over the place now, but there's a reason why, and it's because of this team. The Portland Mavericks, established in 1973 by Bing Russell, who was an actor from Hollywood who loved baseball. He lived out in St. Petersburg, Florida, where the New York Yankees trained way back when. Saw great Yankees players back in their ancient dynasty days. Not ancient where like Babe Ruth stuff, but the mid dynasty, right? Those Yankees in the 40s. The 40s Yankees, Joe DiMaggio, that type of stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So there you go. He was watching those Yankees, Lefty Gomez, all that stuff, and he just loved baseball. He knew baseball. He just absorbed baseball. But he moved up to Maine. I don't know what he did up there. Then the family, packed him up, and moved to California to become an actor. That's what he did. Become an actor. Started working. Started hustling. Became the sheriff on Bonanza. The highly successful television show, Western, way back when.
Have you watched Bonanza?
I have. I have
As
watched
have I.
it. Yes.
You Zoomers out there, old man yells at the skies, meme, a baby slips in the background.
So, Bonanza was the sheriff. Then the show ended after like 12 seasons. It lasted forever. And he had nothing to do. He's just like, what the hell am I supposed to do? Had a family. Some of them were child actors, some of his kids. He's like, you know what? There's a Portland baseball. The Beavers, who were a minor league team there, affiliated with I don't know who. They failed in Portland, so he saw an opening. Went up to Portland, bought a team, rented out their civic stadium, and was like, I'm gonna bring back independent baseball. We're gonna have a minor league team that's gonna play against these other minor league teams that are affiliated. I'm gonna bring baseball way back when, like to the heyday when there were independent leagues and teams all over the place, and you could just be proud, and you just did it for the love of the game. That's what he did. And so I don't want to spoil the entire freaking documentary, but it was amazing. It's absolutely fantastic documentary. It's called damn, I had the name right here. The Battered Bastards of Baseball. That's what it was called.
And we were a fan of alliteration here.
Oh yeah.
Sports Group, so I was loving that.
So, Bing Russell. So they had a lot of big notables. They had the highest attendance in single A history between that time span because he put together a bunch of no names for the most part, and they were good. They were just a bunch of guys who were rejected by everybody else in the entire country. Put out some flyers, and there's like let's beat up these. They call them bonus babies. All these youngins right here, and just absolutely laid waste. They never won a championship though. Some CE stuff. Go watch the documentary. It's super interesting. But first Asian American manager in pro baseball. That's a thing they did. First female general manager in pro baseball as well. So
I'll tell about Stephen A. Smith.
Hell no. Ooh. So Kim Ang. Actually, there's kind of both for her. She's Asian American and she's a female general manager now. So because of this, she's at her position with the Marlins. So there you go. The Portland Mavericks came back. They revived the franchise in 2021. A bunch of guys bought the rights to their logos and colors and all that stuff, and are gonna put a team out. I think 4 teams that are gonna play out in Volcano Stadium out in Kaiser, Oregon, to create an independent league over there. Oregon people are weird. So it makes sense that they would support them like that, right? They're pretty good with supporting the Portland Timbers and the Trailblazers. By the way, the Portland Timbers play at the stadium that the Mavericks used to play at. They converted it from baseball to soccer at the moment. So there you go. And notable alumni, you have Larry Colton, who played for the Philadelphia Phillies, Jim Bouton, who won the World Series with the Yankees back in 1962, starting pitcher, played for the Seattle Pilots and the Houston Astros, was blackballed by baseball because he had a tell-all book that's divulged a lot of things about the inner workings of baseball and some things that were taboo back then. And because of the Mavericks, he was able to revive his career and was signed by the Braves, his last stop in Major League Baseball. And last player, alumni, Kurt Russell.
You mean beautiful Kurt Russell?
Kurt Russell. All right? Escape from New York, Kurt Russell. Inspiration for Solid Snake, Kurt Russell.
Jack Bird in Big Trouble in Little China.
Big Boss, yes. That Kurt Russell.
You mean Ego from Guardians of the Galaxy 2?
That Kurt Russell. Santa Claus. He was Santa Claus too. All right, Christopher Carl was actually
Captain
pretty good.
Ron. You mean also one of the funniest romantic comedies out there of Overboard starring his wife Goldie Hawn, Kurt Russell?
Yes, that Kurt Russell.
This is why you need to support your minor team, kids. Without this and his failure to suck as a baseball player, we would not have all those great movies that I listed to you.
Kurt Russell didn't suck, actually.
What?
Kurt Russell, okay.
Why? Because Kurt Russell could never suck.
Kurt Russell was a child actor. And then, but his dad loved baseball. His dad loved baseball. He loved baseball. He tried. He actually played in the greatest city in America, in El Paso. He made it up to Double-A. And then he had, I think he was sliding into second base. There was maybe like a double plate type of thing. I don't know. Whatever happened, he kind of separated his rotator cuff in his throwing arm, which meant that which ended his
Game over.
Game over. Especially back in the 70s. I'm sure now they could probably fix that, but they weren't fixing that back in the 70s. So there is an alternate universe where Kurt Russell never became an actor, and or may have been, may have done like a Shaquille O'Neal type of deal, right? Where he's actually good at his sport and actually good at acting.
Can we just will into the universe that there's an alternate universe of Kurt Russell being Shazam? Or not Shazam, Kazam.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to live in that world.
I don't know. He could be Shazam. He could be, Shazam too, right? Why not?
Well,
That was an okay movie. I liked it.
I feel like the world got to know me too much today, aside from my hair products, my vanity, my mustache. But
The
also
original
how
Captain
I just-
Marvel, by the way.
Exactly, right? But licensing rights, because lawyers. But also how I lift off like 5 Kurt Russell movies without hesitation.
Oh, yeah. So
I feel very vulnerable right now.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I was like, holy crap, that Kurt Russell. Yep, that Kurt Russell. So Portland Mavericks, everybody. There you go. Where are we at on the time? Here, let me just see. We're at hour 37. Did I have one more planned out? I had this whole damn thing planned out.
I know we got, the riggingness of things.
Oh, okay. So, well, I had some so we can get into the nerdy stuff, right? So, I think that's it. The Lightning won the Stanley Cup. Everybody, we all know this. So that was like a thing. Trevor Bauer. We're gonna talk about Trevor Bauer.
Next week, maybe.
Yeah,
that's a long.
Yeah,
session.
that's not gonna end anytime soon.
Yeah, that's also like a professional thing where I can give arguments
never
and
mind.
counter because my feel. So it's like, okay, I think I can actually kind of educate. It's one of those rare learner groups, but it's a subject because me.
And more stuff might come out. Who knows?
Well, I think it'll be like how we had it on Deshaun, where that took more 20
that's
minutes
true.
than it was like
That
5
is
minutes.
true.
And how that's different in comparison, because that's something also with Andrew, because Andrew likes to do on the league with stuff that's like big legal stuff that comes into it. Big legal.
By the way, I think after he does his the exam, right? He's actually got another sports bar episode planned out. He's already kind of recorded it. I think he's gonna edit it, and then we'll have it on the podcast. All right, so look out for that in the future. So
Bauer we can do next week.
With regards to the NCAA name and likeness stuff. So
there you go.
All right,
it's only going to keep increasing.
All right, so Trevor Bauer, we'll do that next week. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, we'll just. Okay, so gaming stuff, nerdy stuff. So, Super Mario 64 sold for $1.5 million, but I've already read and heard a lot of stuff that is like an artificial thing that. Two companies there's some sketchy backroom deals trying to get this up because some people have big stake in big money to get people to spend big money and spend money with these companies here, so there might be some, it almost seems like insider trading, but of course there's nothing legal against this.
You drive up the price, you drive up the demand, and you know what else it kind of does though? If it doesn't, damn, dude, when you think about it, if it doesn't get the N64 stuff in there, what is there plenty of stuff that's still in Walmart and Best Buy and GameStop because no one really bought out as much of it like Nintendo thought of? The Super Mario 3 All-Stars.
Yeah.
Drive it up even higher price.
Yeah, but I don't know. There's a lot of things with regards to that. Nintendo, I think that was more of a marketing stunt type of thing because essentially, I think Nintendo made enough of those things because I still see them in stores. I still see copies of it.
There's tons.
Yeah. So I think they made the same amount they would have made,
regardless.
in a normal fashion, right? So they just did that to get people, I guess us, right?
Bought it week 1 on. I got it for like $3.
Us to fall for it, but look, I didn't bite, which is kind of surprising by me, to be honest. I didn't bite because I'm like, I've played Super Mario 64 so many times that I can't even. I can't even. I can't even at that point. But yeah. So that there's that. But I wanted to ask you, Charles, what's the dumbest video game you enjoy playing a lot?
Holy shit!
Like one that it's terror bad or it's not good, but it's I don't know, guilty pleasure, which I hate saying, but
no, it's a guilty pleasure. Through the generations, through my adult life, you know, how do you want me to? It's funny. I'm on PS4 right now, looking at games I could buy because I have a $16 credit, and
I thought you bought that. I thought you bought Mexican with that, man.
No, not from you. I have a PSN thing. I got my chimichangas. I was this close to putting Pueblo Viejo as my non-sponsor, but my hair was just on point today that beat out my need for being fulfilled by chimichangas. Games that are guilty. You see, I don't think I bought as much bad current guilty pleasure games now at 31 because I'd be like super frustrated with it, and it's different your times go. So let me have you lead it, and then I can redact into it. Tell me, what do you think is your guilty pleasure, a game that you know is bad but you can't walk away from?
Okay, so one of mine, and I guess you made a point with regards to like, okay, you're an adult, and yeah, you ain't gonna spend money on a terrible game, or you're gonna make sure that it's all right, right? Especially because you ain't got time. You ain't got time to play
I can give you games that.
I play terrible games. Because I'm trying to get through that backlog. I'm trying to justify having it at 200 plus video games, you know? But mine is Sonic R.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Sonic R is my guilty pleasure game. And I'll tell you why. Because, well, I got the PC version of that game way back when, I don't know, 2002 or something, or 2001, I'm not sure. And I'd already played like Sonic Adventure 2 and Sonic Adventure. I knew, like, when I started playing, I'm like, oh, this is not what I was expecting from a Sonic racing game that I thought would be better, that I always wanted to get on the Sega Saturn and was never able to get one, and now I have it on PC, and it has a strange soundtrack, which is also a guilty pleasure because it's like stupidly like, Can You Feel the Sunshine? I don't know if you've heard that song. Supersonic Racing, which is in Smash Brothers as well. If you put it on the Sonic stages, that's from Sonic R. It's not great. It is not, objectively, it is not great. The graphics aren't great, the physics aren't great, and you can beat the game in half an hour,
which is typical of that time.
Right. Yeah, especially Sega. Sega never made a lot of deep video games. They were mostly like arcadey type of things, right? Something you can get done in like an hour or something like that. So Sonic R, but I played it and I'm like, okay. And then later on I had a GameCube and I bought Sonic Gems Collection. The reason I bought that was because it had Sonic the Fighters and Sonic CD, which I had never played before. I think Sonic Fighters had never been re-released. It was just an arcade game. But it had Sonic R on it. And guess what I did when I got Sonic Gems Collection? I played through all of Sonic R again. And then I got a Wii. I hacked the Wii, downloaded ripped my games from their discs onto the hard drive, played Sonic Gems Collection just to test it out, played through Sonic R again, had a widescreen hack. I could play the game in widescreen now. And sold Sonic Gems Collection right now. Checked out the game on my hard drive just to be like, okay, at least I have it here on my gaming PC with the emulator. And I played Sonic R again, Charles, this past weekend. Again. And I challenged myself. I picked the worst character in the game. And I'm like, I want to see if I can complete this game 100% with this character. 45 minutes later, I beat the game with Amy Rose. Just because. I don't know why, but I keep going back to it. I know it's terrible, and it was frustrating, but I just can't. I just can't. It just can't. So Sonic R, there you go.
It's just your thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look through my trophies real quick because of my PlayStation up, and this goes back from my PS3 to PS4. But
That's what I'm like. I'm sure it has to be like something from back then, because
yeah, I would think that. I know which one it is. Dead Island, hands down, loved it. I got that, and I got Riptide. I put in 60+ hours into it. Those who don't know, zombie RPG.
Yep.
Basically, all you need to know. It was buggy. It looked ugly. Deep Silver. I like the original Dead Island. Of course, Riptide was just basically a glorified expansion pack. My ex-girlfriend's brother had told me about Dead Island. I remember I started on Christmas, and I just loved I could mod weapons. I made a machete with electrical current upgrades. So I was like, I'm Thor, chopping through dudes. It was just fantastic. It's really the predicate for Dying Light, and I would even say to a degree what's that other, like the other zombie game that came out with the guys on a motorcycle as one of the supposed to be PlayStation.
Do I have
like,
that? Hold on.
But
I'm trying to see
Dead
if
Island, Dead Island,
I might have Dying Light as one of the games in my backlog.
I think you did from what you mentioned.
Yeah, I think I do.
That same and the thing is, it was like critically banned. Like Dead Island 1 wasn't as much; it was like a 7 ratings. But Dead Island 2, like, oh, it's just a rip off. And I don't even remember like the story making any sense, but I loved it. I loved the killing of zombies, and it's not like how you play like Black Ops Zombies. You're like, you're just shooting stuff. I like the idea. I could modify stuff. I made a skill tree of it. I know that one of the girl that I had, who her skill tree, her ultimate thing was basically just getting like an impenetrable gun. I'm like, that matters. That game, I was actually mentioning this the other day because you can get it on the PS4 now for like $3. Yeah. I have no need to replay it because remasters or remakes, which one is always it's like a slight step up, but it's not going to be great visually, and the mechanics are probably buggy. But I thoroughly enjoyed that one and Riptide, and there was always rumors of them making the second one, but it's not happening because it's in developmental hell. But it was. I remember how many hours that I popped in. And that was one of those games I played right before law school, and then after my first year of law school. So much fun. I loved it. It was everything you want, because RPGs are weird. Because every game now wants to be an RPG to a degree, but when you're putting it into a survival mode, it was a great work through. I have like no need to kind of like replay
it seemed like the culmination of that whole zombie craze of like the late 2000s, right?
It's exactly what, and it's exactly what I need to be, because that was a PS3, PS4. I think everything's just kind of been consistent on what I would purchase. You know, I can't even say for sure. I mean, there's actually excellent games that I feel like people don't play off and they should, such as Mad Max, which I have a lot of fun with, or even Timefall 2, because everybody's always about Apex Legacies. But because I would say Dead Island would fit into that realm, because it is not technologically the most sound game. There's some bugs and errors and PS3 was a weird generation. Same thing with 360 and Wii, because you were trying to figure out.
You can tell. I was like Too Human. I'm playing Too Human, and from what that game was in development hell. It was like on the PS1. It started out development as a PS1 game, then it moved to the GameCube, and then it moved to the 360, and they used an illegal version of Unreal Engine to get it to work on that. And that game, that it feels like a PS1 game that has the graphics of that era where Xbox 360 games and PS3 games look like just high definition PS2, GameCube, and Xbox games, right? Yep. That was it. There was maybe a bump up in like lighting effects and some particles and stuff like that and textures, but for the most part, it was that rough. It is that rough. That game is rough when I'm playing it, but it's a time capsule. It's a product. Actually, no, that thing came out in 2008. That released in 2008. So by 2008, like there were games on the Wii that were surpassing it. Mm-hmm. So, and PS3, and I think the first Uncharted came out that year or something, right?
So
So they were just getting mashed by everybody by that point. So no.
I'll ask you this to tag along for our geek session, because that's what we do. Where our gaming sessions are nerdy sections. We'll have to make a small segment, but we got to figure out what we want to call it name-wise.
Yeah.
What game have you bought that you instantly regret wasting your time playing?
Ooh.
Because I got one off the cuff. I absolutely hated Prey for the PS4. Wasted my money, wasted 30 hours. It's by Arcane, and I enjoyed Dishonored 1 and 2. And the people who love it, man, they'll do anything to defend it, just like a certain player on the Suns, Devin Booker. But it is straight trash!
Hey, we're enjoying some baklava here, folks.
Baklava, yeah, today I am. But I was not. Prey was just so disappointed because it really just felt like Dishonored. And I understand it's made from the same studio, but it really felt like a reskin of it in space. The story was lackluster. I think some games that don't have compelling character. There was Fetch Quest. It's one of those few games where I'm not a completionist like some of my friends, but if you have a lot of if you have side quests, I'll try to finish side quests. To be honest with you, I didn't want to finish that, and then when I got to the end, I'm like, all right, I can't get those.
Yeah, some side quests are worthwhile. Some of them are fun.
And I remember I bought it for Black Friday 4 years ago for $15. I'm like, all right, I chose that instead of Resident Evil 7. And sometimes I lay awake at night thinking I should just Resident Evil 7 instead of that. But, I'm an idiot. What can I say? I have good hair, bad decisions in games I buy on Black Friday. Thank you, Cremo, for supporting me and not holding me out to harbor into the thing. I absolutely regret playing every bit of it. And now Arcane is making Deathloop, which looks interesting to me, but I'm still butthurt over Prey, and I can't get that time back. That's 30 hours that I could initiate to some of these games. I'm looking at my PlayStation Plus catalog, or
for me right now,
bad taste in my mouth.
Because okay, I've gambled on some of the indie titles, right? Those downloadable stuff. So you kind of you go into it, right? So that's fine. But for an actual box product, disc and all, or cartridge,
I'll give you the verification, or I'll give you the qualifications. Something you spent some money on, whatever you.
Okay, I know what it is.
High end games you put in.
I know what it is. I know what it is. Epic Mickey 2.
Oh my god! Yeah. Vomit.
Epic Mickey 2.
Talking about this a couple weeks ago.
I beat it this year, so Epic Mickey 2. I really enjoyed the first Epic Mickey on the Wii. Really enjoyed it. Really, it was super fun. It was super fun to me. I know it's not perfect, but it was an alright platforming game with the whole painting mechanic and a lot of Disney history and stuff like that. I liked that. That was really fun. But they made a sequel, and my sister, we got it on the Wii U. So not only did we buy a terrible game, we bought it on the Wii U. From what I've heard, the Wii version is actually better than that version. But either way, the game is bad. Although it doesn't matter what console you play it on, it doesn't matter. All right, that thing was on PS3 and the 360. It was not good. It was not good at all. It was disappointing. Just the controls weren't the same. Everything handled so badly. There were frame rates was awful, and just it was. I beat the game this year, and I'm like, this was bad. It wasn't as awful as I thought it would be, but I played it back in when I first got it, and I couldn't make it past the first 30 minutes because I'm like, this is not good. This is not a good game. This is not a good video game. But I hoard video games, so kept it, and then finally got to it this year. I'm like, you know what? Let's actually play this damn thing and see. Maybe it's not as bad as I thought it was back in 2012 or whatever when that released. But it's not good. That one I regret. That was $60 down the drain.
Yeah, some games you don't get back, man. Sometimes you don't get back, and we're stuck with that.
Yeah, well, so we didn't talk about the NBA Finals.
I got it. I can really summarize it. It's not done. Good for Milwaukee for making it interesting.
Yeah,
because we both thought it was going to be done. But the only thing I want to comment on, because it's still not complete, so I don't need to invest too much time into it. But boy, we're really just gonna ride on that Devin Booker hype train. Feed me my baklava, Francisco.
I felt like, look, he had 30. He made 40 points. He had 42 points, but 4 of them shouldn't have counted because he fouled out. He fouled out.
Yep.
And I said this in the chat, and I guess I will say it out loud. It sounds terrible, but I know it to be true. The NBA is milking Kobe Bryant's death for all it's worth.
Ooh. Say the R word. Say it for me.
They are milking it for all it's worth.
Are you saying that the NBA Finals is going to run you the story of how Devin Booker's favorite player is Kobe? Everybody loved Kobe. You don't think anybody else on Phoenix or on Milwaukee loved Kobe?
Yeah, there are baseball players and football players that have Kobe stuff. I mean, Jazz Chisholm loves Kobe. So, like, I get that. But the NBA is, for me, is milking or just shape. Kobe beef actually makes a lot of sense in this scenario.
They're spotlighting it. I think that's the word that you're looking for.
Exactly. They are enjoying the Kobe beef a little too much right now. They did it last year with the Lakers and the Heat.
Well, but
that was the bubble. That was the whole thing, and
it was literally the year he died. So
yeah, exactly. And I get that. But this year, all right, the All-Star Game MVP trophy. I mean, we said it too. Like, yeah, it should be named after Kobe Bryant, right? That makes sense. That makes sense. That makes a ton of sense. Cool. But now, every little thing that they can do with, like, every mention of Kobe Bryant, like, they will mention it. They will push it. And especially ESPN and ABC. Because you know the mouse loves milking that nostalgia. Loves it, all right? They will milk Iron Man's death as much as possible. Spoilers, everybody.
It's been 2 years.
They are going to milk that as much as possible, too.
Plus, with multiverse, no one dies now.
Yeah, of course. So, and now, it was all game, right? Like, Devin Booker, here's photos of Devin Booker with Kobe in the locker room and the conditioning room. And
be legendary.
Yeah, he's got the thing tattooed on his arm, all this other stuff, and I'm like...
And here's the thing, it's okay...
It was making me uncomfortable.
But it's okay if you mention it once during the finals run or just on this actual finals, but it was since the beginning of the finals.
Yeah, or I get it if in that first series, right, when they're facing the Lakers. I get that too. But he's having, like, all these points, and they're pouring it on. Just pouring it on. Oh, he's having a legendary performance and all that stuff. And then the phantom non-foul, right?
Buddy, I'm gonna pause you there, and I'm gonna bring in a wrestling references. This makes me feel like Vince McMahon is trying to push Roman Reigns on me as a baby face. Tell me he's the top guy for so many years, and we're just booing him because we don't like him. That's you, Devin Booker. Continue.
Yeah, it's not. I don't like it. I really don't like it. Like I'm like, man, it'd be nice to see Chris Paul win, but at this expense, I don't know, man. It'd be nice to have, the Olympics are happening. I'm sure Greece would like something to be proud of right now. Let's go with Giannis. Let's go with Giannis in Milwaukee. Let's do it. Let's go for it.
Andrew had asked us in the chat, everybody, who we were going for, because he doesn't care about basketball.
Right.
It's not the Orlando Magic, and that's a big stretch for him to even care about the Magic. He was like, who should you go for? And we all know I've been flip-flopping. We talked about it last week. I'm like, I think the better narrative is here, so I can't say no to it. After last night, just call me a deer, baby. My Patronus is a stag, just like Harry.
Yep.
You know, I got crowns on my head. The best house was House Baratheon because they had a friggin' stag. Go Stannis, not Red. But all that stuff. I'm all deer, baby, because I can't deal with that play officiating, and we know it's rigged. I was talking to my buddy about it because I think he wants Phoenix to win, and he goes, "Oh, come on, man. We all know that the NBA officiating is bad."
They want this to go 7.
Yeah, But like, I get it. I mean, I can let bypass Jay Crowder, who we love Jay Crowder, and his prima donna fake foulings. He was just selling some stuff that wasn't there.
Yeah.
But we're getting that. We're getting Chris Paul like doing a bicycle kick Liu Kang style into a defender and getting the foul on it, because that's a dumb rule that needs to be reviewed and changed. And then we're getting Devin Booker, obviously, full out grabbing fouls of Drew Holiday, who was playing terrible too. Let him have the points, man. He was probably going to miss that bucket anyway. What was the purpose? Plain and simple. 4 of 20. Nice. Going in there. Blatantly there, but because it was like 6 minutes left in the game, or 5 minutes left in the game, in that range, we're not going to take it out, because it would have been pure and utter decimation. And how dare the Suns fans' timelines on the Twitterverse go and say, oh, no one's going to foul us here, they're going to focus on it. Doesn't matter. It was so blatant, because it's not like a 4th or a 5th foul. That would have been the foul out. I don't even know if you want Game 7. I'm going to venture that you wanted the Suns to win, because the Suns were leading throughout the entire time, Francisco. That's what you need to understand. They wanted to be 3-1, and they wanted the Suns to win at home the next game. Rigged. You're going to throw this legendary stuff on me, you're going to do all this stuff into it, and on that moment, when I saw it, I texted you guys. I'm like, what? And on that moment, I was like, you know what, Giannis? You're a nice guy. You haven't done anything wrong.
Yeah, Chris Middleton, go ahead. Chris Middleton.
I was about to say something incendiary about Kobe Bryant, but I'm going to hold back on that in relation to Devin Booker. Screw it, I'm going to say my opinion there. You're your own man. You're going to follow your own thing, Giannis Antetokounmpo. You don't want to be chasing your brother's legacy, Kostas Antetokounmpo, who is a champion over the Lakers. There's too many Antetokounmpos. I looked at it and I said, if this is the hill that I die on, because I had to choose, I've always been candid. I don't know who I would want to win. I think the better never was the Phoenix, but the way the officiating was going, and yes, I know it's off one game. The next 3 games could be just perfect, and I still wouldn't care. I'm gonna cast my lot. I'm gonna cast my lot to Milwaukee. I'm gonna go all petty. Even if it costs Mike Budenholzer, who I don't think is exceptionally close to win a championship, I will go from there. I will allow myself to feel that, because in my head, my penny says, well, at least we lost to the team in the playoffs that actually won the championship. I want to be like, oh, so you're gonna be legendary like Corey Devin? You're gonna be legendary like, oh, like all the times that he did lose against teams in the finals. Remember that. So stats suffer. I'm gonna eat my baklava. I'm sick of humble pie. I have been on this diet that has been healthy for me as a person, but has hurt my soul. I'm a basic baklava.
Yep.
I can't do this, because it was just such a blatant. Because guys, it was a fast break.
Yeah.
All eyes in the camera and all eyes were clearly on Drew Holiday. Because this is not one
wrapped his arms around him.
It was not really, was it off the back, not the back? And then he has the goal to get mad at other times when he'd been fouled all the time. Because there was another foul that I considered on the second time when Giannis was going up and then Booker went up. I don't think his feet were set in when he was going up to it. And, like, you can't come with that reaction. And then the deflection, I want a Phoenix Sun fan to be like, yeah, Chris Paul played trash and Devin Booker should have been out. So your fan base has now made me have to choose a side. And I will tell you this, aside from my Devin Booker, and to bring it back where I was prospectively last week and so on and so forth, I know Devin Booker's a good player. I'm not saying that I wouldn't take on the Heat in a heartbeat. I would. But, this is now on a new level of petty, where the NBA, because I have thought this is a boring final, to be honest with you. This entire series to me is boring. The first 2 games were boring.
Well, we know the NBA didn't want this. We know this.
But
and
they're so blatant.
Oh no, but now they're once again, they're trying to squeeze as much out of this as possible, as much narratives, all that stuff, and okay. And they're like, well, Devin Booker really loved Kobe and all this stuff. He's got the tattoo, all this stuff. Let's have some Kobe beef. Let's go back and oh God, I was gonna say beat the dead horse, but God, this is bad.
I'll tell you after the show what I was gonna say. But you know what? Just like certain civil unrest are going on 90 miles south of Florida, you have to stand up sometimes to pick a side. You can't just be a I have to say, you know what? In the world of basketball, I'm on a podcast about sports. I gotta choose Bucks or Suns. I'm gonna go choose the good guys here, the Bucks.
All right.
F it. Bucks and 6, Bucks and 7. I don't care. Let it be the Bucks. Because also what I've noticed, and I told you this last week, every time I kind of side with something, I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Or I'm against something, I'm wrong. So I'm really like, I just need a win, man. I just need a W because the L's win too much.
All right, so we are. I mean, we got it. We got to go to the cage, man.
We got to.
It
Because
is
it's a big
time.
one.
It
Too
is
much has
time.
happened. Too much has happened.
Many
Welcome everybody
things
to
have
your weekly
happened.
Truplex. Welcome everybody to your weekly Truplex The Cage with Charles. Full disclaimer: wrestling is not fake. It is scripted. It is a song. It is a dance. It is a stage fight. It is poetry in motion. It is men and women chasing championships, chasing recognition, hoping to be legendary. It is sometimes men and women just trying to beat the holy hell out of each other. On your special Thursday night edition of The Cage, just my WCW Thursday Night Thunder, if you remember that show, going on there. A lot of stuff has happened. And I'm trying to figure out how to really break this apart and try not to prolong this because what do we have? We have a pay-per-view this weekend, Money in the Bank. Of course, I got to leave you guys hanging with that because it's about predictions. I got to be right. I got to be wrong. I've been pretty good with some of my predictions. Last year was different. We had Wednesday Night Dynamite with TNT for AEW yesterday. Some stuff happened there. Not a whole lot, but some stuff we can talk on. We had NXT Great American Bash. No, it wasn't Great American Bash. It was just their follow-up to the Great American Bash, but we didn't show on the Tuesday, so that's what's messing with me. So it's kind of like I'm doing a two-part with them. And then we had some stuff in New Japan. So let's do this the best way I can do this to chop off the beef, the fat off that Kobe beef that we just segued from. So
Oh my God.
New Japan. Tag titles switched hands. Dangerous Tekkers of Taichi and Zack Sabre Jr. are no longer your IWGP Tag Team Champions. It now goes to the team of Los Ingobernables de Japón of Tetsuya Naito. We love Naito. And Sanada. This is their first reign together as a tag team. I don't know if I like it. I don't know if I hate it. I think it's weird because they're kind of hot potatoing the titles a little bit because prior to the Dangerous Tekkers, Tekkers being technical wrestlers, or technical in the art, it was held by God, Guerrillas of Destiny, part of the Bullet Club, then held by the Dangerous Tekkers. It's kind of been, I don't like any titles really being hot potatoed. I have no problem with Naito and Sonata getting it because Naito and Sonata have not really been a tag team. It's weird. You're part of the same faction, but you haven't grouped up as a tag team before. Before it was Sonata and Evil, who is now Bullet Club, who was feuding with Tetsuya Naito last year when Naito was double belts. But this is good for Los Ingobernables because now you have the tag team championships. Of course, you have my main man Shingo Takagi as your IWGP World Heavyweight Champion with the Transformers Decepticon title. So I think this is a build-up for a LIJ versus Bullet Club mashup of championships where once, because Dangerous Tekkers of Taichi and Zack Sabre are part of Suzuki Gun, head by the King, Minoru Suzuki. We love you. Where are you at? Come back, man. Go beat some dudes. Take the Never Hope and Well title from Jay White because I think at the end of the road it will be back to God going against Los Ingobernables for the tag belts, and then Jay White eventually taking the title off of Shingo, which is probably fair. It's probably time, but right now Jay White is your never openweight champion, so there's always some difficulties. John Moxley, as you see, defended the IWGP US title on AEW because there's that kind of open door agreement. Moxley's the big star for AEW. He's also the US champion. They're going to do stuff. They're going to have a match next week on Fyter Fest Part 2, but let's finish up for New Japan. Stuff's going down. Kota Ibushi had the Rona. They're blocking that off a little bit. Him and Shingo will be going against each other, I think, next week for their championship match. I really hope that's good. I hope they try to beat the holy hell out of each other for me. I need some stiff shots. I need Shingo's reign as champion to go through because I've been on that hack crib for him for at least 9 months, right? Close to a year. I never shut up about him. Last year was about Naito because I thought Naito was finally getting his due, and then Gato, the booker, really was just lying to my face. And now we got Shingo Takagi doing Shingo stuff, and we love the dragon over here. AEW, let's go to AEW on this one. You had Fyter Fest 1 this weekend. Next week is Fyter Fest 2. What happened last week, because this is why the cage has to be very condensed, but there's so much in there, so I got to try to fact. A certain Black came from AEW, from WWE. Not Aleister Black, but Malachi Black, formerly Tommy N, formerly Aleister Black from WWE. One of those guys where he says, man, that was a kick in the balls to me when he got a low blow, as the wrestling terminology says, when he got released from WWE because his wife came back to WWE on SmackDown. So here I'm thinking, oh, Aleister's come back. Nope. There was a clerical error in his contract because usually you have a 90-day non-compete in AEW, but he still had his old NXT non-compete still on there, so it was a 30 days. So 30 days come up. He went. He showed up last week when they were in Miami.
And basically black masked Arn Anderson, great legend, and then black masked Cody because he's feuding with Cody, which gives me concerns because I'm like, damn, Cody buries people a lot. He buried Anthony Ogogo. If he buries Malachi Black, I'm gonna be like super pissed about it because Cody to me is not Cody. Love us, follow us on Twitter. But your character right now is not my cup of tea. I want evil Cody. I want a heel Cody. I want Cody with the elite kind of personality. I don't know if I'm crazy about this whole outstanding guy Cody who sometimes bring the fire. I don't care who you bury, what you bury. You guys are creative. You do what you want. But I want to be interesting, and I need your character to change because now it's almost been 2 years. You need to do a little bit more. You need to pull off that whole I'm the vice president kind of vibe kind of thing. And I think that dickish personality would translate well for your character as a character and personality for television. But they had Fighter Fest last night. IWGP US Championship was defended. It was Carl Anderson of Bullet Club of the Elite, who I don't even know if he's fully working on Impact anymore, but he's been part of the crossover between Impact and AEW. He's the boys of the Bucks and Gallows and Anderson former WWE or whatever. Moxley him for the US Championship. Titles does not change hands. Go ahead and go from there. Ricky Starks versus Brian Cage, both part of Team Taz, going against each other for the FTW, F the World, title. Ricky Stark wins because I guess everybody in the faction betrayed Brian Cage. I'm not crazy about this. Type in Brian Cage, Francisco, if you can.
Okay, 1 second.
Brian Cage, literally, there's not a lot of big men or big hosses in AEW. There's about 6 to 7 that I could list off. One of them is your TNT Championship, Rusev. Lance Archer, who's going to be going against Jon Moxley next week in Texas Deathmatch in Texas for Fighter Fest Part 2, which should be exciting. They had beef back
how do you
in
spell
Japan.
what version of Brian?
Brian Cage.
Alrighty.
So here's my thing about Brian Cage. I thought he was good in Impact. I think he brings a meathead look, sure, but wrestling is one of the many things we talked about. What is the one thing that we talked about? That's a big boy. We talked about it being a scripted fight. Big buff boy. So for like the last several months, this big buff boy has been losing. And I understand that majority of your roster is small, very tiny. Now type in Ricky Starks, Francisco. I like Ricky Starks. He was the NWA television champion. I think he has on the mic. He has a kind of like that it factor. And I can understand him in their own beef with his faction being the one who takes that title from him because you're pursuing beef to help also put over Powerhouse Hobbs. But when you look at a lot of the roster that's coming into it, and you look at Brian Cage, who is leaps and bounds big strong boy, versus a lot of the other guys who maybe I even look a little bit more built than them. I've been hitting the gym pretty hard. I love Ricky Starks. He's a great character, very good wrestler. Big shout out to you, Ricky. I'm glad that you're getting more prominence in there. But when you have someone like Cage, who's probably a Hulk at 6'3", 260 pounds, always losing to people. Because he didn't just lose to Ricky. He was losing to Darby Allin. Darby's like, 5'11", 190 pounds. He lost to Darby Allin and Sting in that cinematic match, which we knew wasn't going to happen. Ricky Starks was his tag team partner. All this stuff coming into it. I need some believability, because if you want me to believe that wrestling is a fight, I can understand the concept that everything's got to be an underground. But if I have wrestlers that I have more muscle in my butt cheeks than they do on their pecs, beating Brian Cage is going to suspend the believability. Everybody loves a David and Goliath. Sure. Why do we love a David and Goliath, Francisco? Because 9 out of 10 times the story is Goliath squashes David. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
So I feel bad. I don't know if I feel bad for Brian Cage, but I think it's just inconsistent booking beyond belief to have someone up there. Now, wrestling's weird. How do you like your wrestlers? Do you want them to be big and built and look like and destroy people? Because that's the Cage thing. That's my love for Karrion Kross. Do I want them to be good, smooth talkers, such as Ricky Starks, who knows how to put on a story in the ring, outside the ring, promos? Is it somebody who's all around? There's so many things that come into it. But I was talking to my buddy Tony about it. Big wrestling fan, have been for years. I'm just like, I'm not crazy about it. I don't get it. I don't get how he's just basically being a gatekeeper. But Ricky is now the FTW champion. It's really kind of like a meaningless title in AEW, but maybe they can build something into it. Let's see what we can do with Brian Cage in the future. There was a coffin match between Darby Allin and Ethan Page. At the end of the day, Darby Allin once again wins. puts Paige in the little coffin. Does the coffin drop onto it for good measure? I mean, look, Ricky's a well-shaped guy.
Yeah, I'm looking at it, but
you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because if you type in AEW roster,
let's say Super Smash Bros. Right?
Guys.
You got Link versus Ganondorf, and it's like, okay,
Yeah.
take away Link's sword and his bombs and all this stuff, and have him go in a fist fight with Ganondorf.
And that's the thing. You want to believe the believability that's a fight. It's got to mean something. Next week is part 2 of Fighter Fest. I won't harbor onto it. We're going to go back to a regularly scheduled program. That should be on from there. What I am interested in, 2 things last night. We're finally getting Dark Order versus the Elite, led by Adam Hangman Page, because he's finally going to be chasing Kenny Omega, his former tag team partner for the AEW Championship. It's been a slow burn. Tony's been loving it, saying he's 100% invested into it. I'm not yet, because I know it's going to be set for the next pay-per-view All Out in September. It's a long ways away, man. Next week, or either next week or 2 weeks from now, they're going to do a 5-on-5 elimination match. You're really going to string it along. So we know what's going to probably happen. They're going to injure him. Like, Hangman will win because the condition is the Dark Order wins. He gets his title shot, and the tag team titles are also on the line for some of the people there. Okay, so I have to explain how Starks beat Cage was Hobbs, the other guy in the faction, hit Cage with a belt. So yes, foreign objects, interplay, I get that. But Cage often loses a lot more than you think. Rage with Cage and the Cage with Charles. Brian, come on our show. I would love to talk to you. Let's do some interviews out there, buddy. I can't pay you except for like a chimichanga, but that'd be cool, dude. Let's go meet up. Go to Jacksonville. We have that. And then why Francisco? And this is where I'm going to leave off in AEW. Because booking aside, all that stuff. Oh, yeah, Malachi and Cody, light and dark. I like the whole thing. I hope Alistair wins or Malachi wins. I'm not crazy about him keeping the black moniker because you in the indies. If WWE did bad by you, why would you want to kind of keep that moniker of black to the next organization? It's different than Andrade because Andrade, that's his real name. He just changed it to Andrade El Idolo. I'm just being picky. What can I say? I love you, Tommy. I'm glad that you're in. Tommy N, Tom Bunjan, whatever his name is now. But Malachi Black, good for you, buddy. Real proud. I got to see him live, man. You have an impact. You have a connection. And I'm happier with dudes getting an opportunity to go somewhere on TV as opposed to being wasted away for 7 months. That's like, we're lawyers. So that's like, I'm ready to go to trial. Let's have a trial. You're at that firm that won't put you on trial, even though you're ready. You have to just stand there and do depots and just hold and be the briefcase boy. No one wants to be the briefcase boy forever. Or briefcase girl forever. Why are we always changing the TNT Championship, Francisco? I don't know if I sent you a link to it.
Oh, yes. You said they were redesigning it. Hold on, man. I haven't seen it, so you're going to get a genuine reaction from me.
I want your genuine reaction. And it's on Rusev, or not Rusev, but Miro. We love Miro. Use Rusev. We love him. He's so good. Love everything he's doing.
Let's see. Let me see. We are now on TNT Championship belt number 4 in 14 months. Wow, they've changed it 4 times? Or...
Well, remember their thing wasn't fully prepared.
Okay, so that was the first one, right? The one in red.
Yeah, and because it was incomplete because Nirvana.
Yeah. Okay.
So
that was the first one.
Brody, and then they made the full thing, and I like the newer look, and then Brody died.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Rest in peace, Brody. We love you. I'm still not over that, man. That stuff hits me. But I called it the Red Power Ranger belt.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, they retired that belt to give the Brody's kid.
Right, I remember that.
And they gave that to Darby, and I actually love that.
That one looks really nice.
I think it's good. And
I like the ribbon pattern as well. The it's not overly red. It's got that nice. It's classy. It looks very classy.
It's a championship big fight feel.
Black, gold, red looks. Yeah, it looks great with the silver.
And then.
Why is it green?
Well, it could be maybe affiliated because Miro's from Bulgaria, but I don't know.
Wait. Is there a better photo of it? Let me see. Hold on, this guy. I guess this guy makes. Gosh, I guess this guy makes like his own his own. Yeah, I guess replicas of it. So.
Like
white, gold, and green.
Buddy, it looks to me like a spearmint gum wrapper. I do not like that at all. It actually looks like a knockoff the 24/7 title in WWE, which is ugly.
It would work well when Luigi gets a fire flower, I guess, but
that's the emblem for Luigi when he wins in Mario Kart.
Yeah, like that's fine, but man, the other one looked really classy.
It looked good on Rusev.
black and the black base for the belt,
It's a
the gold
spearmint.
with the silver, and that touch of red, not overly red like the last one, just that classy little amount of touch right there, just for the ribbon, right?
And the funny part is that the joke is you're gonna have to change the belt again when they go to TBS. Because remember, they're all going to TBS.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the whole thing of the whole realigning NHL, all that stuff's coming in. So yeah,
Listen, they should have listened to me a year ago when they tried to introduce it. Instead of calling it a TNT title, they should have called it a Dynamite title, and then it would have been so cool. But whatever, man. So
bootleggers be like, come on.
yeah, and that's where I'm gonna leave AEW. Fighter Fest 2 next week. I'll do a little sneak preview on that one because we gotta go to WWE. Too much stuff has happened.
Okay.
NXT, Great American Bash. A lot of good matches happened there. Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly. Actually, I felt it was better than the first one because it was more technical, more focused. Commercials always kind of kill things sometimes for me, but it was technically sound, better. It was just pure wrestling match. Adam Cole wins, baby. Zoe Stark, Io Shirai win the women's tag team titles off of Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae. Meh. Tegan Knox and Shotzi Blackheart got called up to the main roster on SmackDown. Ironically, Shotzi Blackheart's actual tag team partner, Ember Moon, doesn't get called up. I don't think her and Vince don't like each other that well. So there's that. That's on the Bash. Wednesday's pay-per-view match, or not Wednesday's pay-per-view match, but Wednesday's match or Tuesday's match. You see, I'm all fixated.
Yeah, man, it's Thursday. Tomorrow's
Tuesday's,
Friday, man.
there we go. Tuesday's NXT match between that happened on NXT was basically main event. This is the only thing that matters. I won't talk about the other ones. Karrion Kross versus Johnny Gargano with Samoa Joe as a special guest referee. Remember, Joe's an enforcer. He can't hurt anybody unless provoked. Anything like that. Oh, I can't wait for this Pete Dunne, Oney Lorcan, Timmy Thatcher, and Tommaso Ciampa feud. Give it to me. But so Karrion Kross and Johnny Gargano, damn good match. When they had the pay-per-view, the Fatal 5-Way, I had told you, man, I think Johnny and Karrion were the ones who shined the most.
Scary
People
man.
hate Karrion.
He's
Scary
scary.
man. People hate Scary Man. They think he's bland. I'm like, but it goes back to the whole fight concept. Whereas Brian Cage is losing, Karrion Kross is murdering. And he murdered Johnny. And Johnny Gargano, please come on Twitter. Not on Twitter. Please come on the show. Follow me on Twitter. I think I follow you on Twitter. He is so gifted as a wrestler where he can make everything look great. And he had moments at probably 5'8", at true weight, probably a $160 at best. Had moments where I thought Karrion was done. And I thought for a second that Karrion was going to lose because Joe, as a referee, speaks, shenanigans. But Johnny and Karrion, when the commercials weren't ruining it, the back 10 of that match was just so good because Johnny was trying was being surgical. He's trying to attack that arm of Karrion, doing the super kicks, doing whatever attacks, trying to get the submission hold. And then Karrion woke up and he's jaw jacking the Joe. And he's becoming a monster, and he basically killed Johnny. He did like 3 in a row power bombs on Johnny, lifted him up, put him on his shoulders, spun him around, and then choked him out. No, he didn't choke him out. He tried to do the cross jack and got out, but then he did the hidden blade. I don't know what he calls it. I'm going to call it the hidden blade because I think that's what it was as a Japanese move elsewhere. Behind Johnny's back of the head, got the 1, 2, 3. And it was just so good. As you're seeing on the Twitter clip that's going on here, how Johnny's just using that speed.
I can't blow it up anymore because Vince is always striking us down. But you know what I mean.
I could see it, but he's using his body. It's making sense. He gives that fight, and then at the very end, Karrion's there. He's won. Joe's checking on Johnny.
I would not take my eyes off that man. Okay, that was a very scary walk that he did when he turned away.
Exactly. And that's what bothers me about fans. I can understand the want of pure wrestling technique. I'm a big fan of it, but you want a pure badass, right? You want your Mike Tysons. And yes, Karrion's wrestling might be limited to certain moves, but you have to look into the complete package. In boxing, some guys are just power hitters. They couldn't outbox you. Think on what I told you and how that translates sometimes into the wrestling world in of itself. But the best part of this was, I'm like, who's going to beat Karrion? I think that's what everybody wondered because Karrion's getting some main roster looks. He's been wrestling in dark matches before the shows. He's been on WWE main event, doing against guys like what we're going to have here. As you see Johnny just stumbling, trying to breathe, about to get murdered. Johnny sells like a champ. Johnny can just sell any kind of thing. Johnny could sell me like flicking him in the eye with my finger. And then Joe is just checking on Johnny, and then Kross finally loses it, and then he chokes out Samoa Joe because Joe can't
hurt back unless provoked. So Cross, the Barbarian, now essentially has pissed off the Samoa Destroyer, the Samoa Submission Specialist, the two-time NXT champion into the past. 300 pounds of pure, I will want to F with that. He's the only guy. Look at this choke out. He chokes Joe out. What's Joe known for? Choking you out. I have a Samoa Joe shirt. Can you not tell how excited I am at this? The shirt says he's the right hand destruction. His theme song is Fire. He's the only man that on that roster right now that legitimately looks like he could kill Karrion as well. The whole thing of wrestling was Joe's going to kill you. I am so excited because if Joe's cleared, we're getting Joe and Cross at TakeOver in August or September, depending if they're going to do a SummerSlam. SummerSlam's on Saturday this year going into it. But we're going to get this match. We can get the beat. We can finally get the clean victory against Cross, and Cross can go on to the main roster, and we can have Joe establish his relevancy. I would love to see Joe back on the main roster to have a proper chance at the big titles. But you know what? If you say that NXT is actually more than just the developmental leagues, putting a big prize fighter there is going to help you. This is pretty much, you want to talk about boxing? There's your Mike Tyson. There's your George Foreman, man. You know, I don't think they ever clashed against her. Pretty sure they have in kids, if I remember correctly. But when you're talking about the image of boxing,
probably in a Fight Night video game. I'm sure we can find
in a Fight Night video. But guys being the highlight of the point of what I'm making is what was known about George Foreman is that he was old and still beat your ass against a young champion. It's natural logic storyline. Moving on to the main roster, I'm gonna try to really condense this to the best of the ability, but it's hard. Money in the Bank, kids. This weekend. What do we know about Money in the Bank? It's a gimmick pay-per-view. It's a ladder match, essentially. Climb up top of the ladder, get the briefcase, guaranteed title shot at any time that you can cash in, expectedly, unexpectedly, however you want it, when you want it, how you can get it. This could be good. This entire card can be good, Francisco. For a July pay-per-view, right before SummerSlam. And I'll wait till Andrew's back to make the review of what I found about SummerSlam, or I'll bitch about it next week. But this could be excellent, or it could be trash. But the matches that are going down, now we'll do my predictions, and we'll go into the Money in the Bank ladder match. You have tag team titles, AJ Styles versus Amos, and Amos versus the Viking Raiders. I think AJ and Amos win it. I can see the Viking Raiders go for it, but if RK Bro doesn't break up with Riddle and Orton, we're going to get that as a SummerSlam match. Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. I think Charlotte wins. I think Becky Lynch comes back. I think you get Becky and Charlotte at SummerSlam. Becky getting back the title she never lost. And the reason why it's not going to be Rhea who's going to be the one that Becky goes against is because Charlotte can take the loss. Rhea's character has not been the best to kind of go into it, right? They've been developing. They just gave her a title, but nothing came of it to fruition. Selena Vega's back. That's Malachi Black's wife. Good job, Tommy End. Good job. Bobby Lashley versus Kofi Kingston. Give me this in my veins. Because of the fact that Bobby has this big mental breakdown on Monday because he hasn't lost much in a year, and then he lost to Kofi a couple months ago with Drew McIntyre's help in a tag team match, and he was pinned. And this is how it led to Kofi being here, and then he lost to Xavier Woods on a roll-up. So Bobby comes back in, tells MVP, his basically manager and friend, this BS needs to stop. I gotta go back to business, and I gotta kill people. So Kofi is going to die for our sins for the glory of the possibility of Hurt Business Bobby versus Brock Lesnar, or a worse thing that could happen. No Brock Lesnar. The rumor mill, Francisco. I was going to hold off to Andrew coming, but I can't do it. The rumor mill is it's not going to be Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley at SummerSlam. Instead of Bobby getting the opportunity to show that he's everything and ready for Brock Lesnar, he's going to get at SummerSlam, this third biggest pay-per-view, I would say, of the big four. Goldberg.
Oh, God. Oh boy!
How do you just give
Roll
Kofi
out
the
the
title?
wheelchair?
Just give Kofi the title. He couldn't go with Drew, so why? We already ruined Drew's second run as a championship when you have Goldberg at Royal Rumble. So I mean, Goldberg could have gone against really anybody on the roster. Sometimes I'm okay with it, but a title shot out of nowhere against Bobby Lashley. Goldberg could have picked up Drew for a jackhammer. I don't think you could pick up Bobby. I just can't. I just can't with Vince, but I know why. Vince wants to get the old names to bring back the casual fans as fans are going on the road to be latched on.
Yeah, I remember him when I was a kid. I played on the N64.
Yeah, we speared everybody. We spat on the floor. But the thing is that we'll bring back the casual viewers to be consistent while they're on the road and they'll have fans back to jump up the ratings because Raw's been doing bad, SmackDown's been doing fine. The presumptive main event, but if not, it's okay. WWE Championship, Roman Reigns versus Edge. Ooh, baby, I have loved it because there's this story. Edge won the Royal Rumble. It was supposed to be him and Roman at WrestleMania. What happens? Daniel Bryan just screwing up the plans, leading to a fantastic triple threat match at WrestleMania. Probably third match of the year for me. I still have to decide if I want Walter versus Ciampa as number one or Roman versus Cesaro as number two or number one. But poor Cesaro. But I know it's going to happen. Cesaro is going to get that IC belt at SummerSlam. It's okay. But that match is going to be good. Edge is going to wrestle on SmackDown. This is a shout out to you, Andrew. Watch SmackDown. Will be Edge and Rey Mysterio and his son Dominic Mysterio versus the bloodline of Roman Reigns and the Usos. Those memes are so good. Jimmy Uso, arrested for DUI, getting like a temp chance, man.
That's right.
What's the line? What do you do to cut him? And you really can't cut him because he's an integral storyline. You're throwing a tag team and everything. And to be fair, how you feel about drunk driving with any athlete or performer comes down to this. If you're an employer,
hey,
was there
White Sox are
destroyed?
okay with it.
Yeah, exactly. Was there property destroyed? Was anybody hurt and ran over? It's not like but I'm gonna also be fair too. If Dante Stallworth can go to jail and still come out to play for a team, Jimmy Uso, who didn't run anybody over, could probably get an eighth try to be an entertainer. But you gotta do some stuff, Vince, man. You really, because one day it's gonna happen. And remember, Jimmy was also one of his arrests. He was abrasive of a cop. He was like, I just came out, Chili's lifting off my shirt. I'm not even kidding. Like trying to go up on a cop. Some cops, man. Jimmy, I don't want to be political, but you want to be careful, man. Don't fight a cop. Going from there, we have the two women. We have the two Money in the Bank ladder matches, the women's and the men's. I'll go with the women's because I'm really not excited with it. Ladder matches are hard, dude, and you need people who have experience in it and know it. And you have Alexa Bliss has won in the past. She's in it. Naomi's been in the past. Asuka won it last year. Natalia's been there. You have Nikki Cross, who's now Nikki Ash because she's taking the whole superhero gimmick because she wanted to change it. I don't believe her. Zelina Vega's back. Malachi Black's wife. So yay for her. And then you have Liv Morgan. I don't know who's going to win. Or Tamina is also in there too. She just got announced today. I don't know who's going to win. Like, if you give it to Nikki Cross, who has this whole superhero gimmick now, I think you should run with that if you feel you can push the PG fan base and the children. People like Molly Holly and the Hurricane when they were doing it. She could sell toy figurines. She could be, Nikki in the bank, the superhero in the bank. You could do some product with it. As much as I think Liv Morgan would be an interesting concept to win, or even, Asuka Part 2. Natalia's definitely not winning. Maybe Zelina, but we'll see. Originally at the Money in the Bank was supposed to be Bianca Belair versus Bayley. Bayley popped out her ACL in real life, so that's not happening. So it could be anyone's ball. I don't think it's going to be Alexa Bliss, but you could, but that makes her a two-time winner. You could do Naomi. She needs a character restart. She was in the hunt for the women's tag team titles, and then Lana got fired or released, whatever you call it. Asuka won it last year. Man, push the product. Push the money. You want to get someone to push? Everybody knows who Nikki Cross is. Maybe she found that new level being a superhero. She's the one with the little domino mask. I think she has the energy. She can carry it. I wouldn't mind Liv going to it, but it could be really anybody's choice. But I'll tell you now, it probably wouldn't be Asuka or Natalia. Remember, Alexa Bliss is possessed by like something higher power with, I think they call it Lily. It's not Sister Abigail from the Fiend. Whatever. I want the Fiend to come back and take the powers from her, so you go back to Alexa Bliss. Going to the men's Money in the Bank. Buddy, this is a good roster. This is a good everything going on with what we're dealing here in the match card. The two highlights have been John Morrison and Ricochet. John Morrison is the one with the jacket and the glasses, and Ricochet is the bald man to his right, or my left, your right, whatever. They're the ones I've been sending you the gifts on, where I'm like, wrestling is also gymnastics and athleticism. Yep. So they've just been trying to kill each other. There's like a little sub view, but any of these guys, except for Drew McIntyre, I am perfectly fine with winning. Realistically, I don't think it's gonna be Shin or Drew. If you did Owens, it's fine because Owens wins and then he can cash in on Reigns when Reigns just has a hellacious match against someone, presumably John Cena at SummerSlam, because Owens and him had that backstory from the last couple months. It reignites a feud. It can give a clean win for Owens because remember, Owens kept losing because he couldn't win clean. Roman couldn't win clean. He had to have Jay help him all the time, plus a little botch that happened at Royal Rumble with the last man standing when they had the handcuffs. I don't see Ricochet winning, obviously. I don't see Morrison winning, obviously, but I'm just happy to be there because they're going to die for me, basically, on the ladders. It's going to be great. I don't know why Seth's in the ladder match. I thought you could have had Cesaro, but because Seth could just demand a main event match, but I think Seth's just there for the star power. You're going to be in front of a live crowd. This is all in front of a live crowd. Shin, he's just there for the TV time, man, to get the crowd all hyped up.
So this is who I really think either is he was going to win. One for Raw, one for SmackDown, right? It's not going to be Drew. If it's Drew McIntyre and he wins the Money in the Bank laddership match so he can get another shot at Bobby Lashley or try to cash in on Roman Reigns, I will just stop watching wrestling for a bit and you guys will have to watch the cage. I need Drew to ease up. I think Jinder Mahal is going to interfere and go from there. But I can't do it, man. It reminds me of Super Cena back from 2009, 2010. But it's either going to be Big E or it's going to be Riddle. And if you
Wait,
do
why
Big
is Goldberg trending?
Because Goldberg's going to
Really?
be going against
Oh
Bobby
my
Lashley. Did you not hear my segment?
I know, but that's actually really happening?
I know, and I'm
I
laughing.
thought it was just
That's
a
the
rumor. I
thing.
thought you said it was just a rumor.
Bruh, rumor with me is close to fact. I'm like a priest at a confessional. I can only tell you so much without breaking the
I love the
confidentiality.
Dave Chappelle Goldberg returning to WWE. Fans, but why?
Because-
WWE. Fuck you, that's why.
Exactly, and that's how I feel because you're going to take Bobby, who I was gloriously happy that he won. It may lose to Goldberg.
Twitter.
It's just so bad. But if you do Big E, it's because Bobby Lashley has hurt Woods. Bobby Lashley will kill Kofi at Money in the Bank. Big E
Pain.
wins that briefcase on SmackDown, goes over the Raw to avenge his boys. And maybe that's the match that you need to help make Big E into that big superstar. Or if you do Riddle, and you have it be Riddle in the Bank, what is Riddle currently with? Randy Orton. Randy Orton, the treacherous viper that he is. This is how you do to further build the story between Randy and Riddle and their eventual breakup to help put Riddle over. So when the time comes, he's now more of a made man, and then he can cash in and win his first world championship. It's good booking. I'm okay with Owens being my reserve. We don't really know what to do, so we're going to give it to him because he's a soldier. And maybe you can reignite him, Roman, because I don't know who should beat Roman. I don't think anybody should beat Roman clean. I think Roman's true loss of his house should come from a cash-in right after he had a grueling match. Plain and simple. But unfortunately, the other hypothetical is that Drew McIntyre gets drafted onto SmackDown in October. When they do the draft, then he's the one that beats Roman because Vince just can't let it go. That's all I got for you this weekend, Cage. Those are my predictions.
Okay.
Full out. If I have to put full out, it's going to be Big E. But I have alternates because you need that sometimes in Money in the Bank.
Okay. All right. Well, that's it for us, folks. Oh, no wonder the game crashed. That's like my computer screen kind of just like turned black for a second because the Sega Saturn crashed. So never mind for that. What, regardless, we're done. This went long. But hey, man, we had 2 extra days. All right, that's the reason why we actually planned stuff out. So there you go. And one last sponsorship for McDonald's. All right, folks, have a good night. Go get some BTS meal, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, take care. BTS meal, not BSM meal.